The Betfred Super League awaits a 12th team in 2022. Will it be Toulouse Olympique or the Featherstone Rovers? You will find out here on Sky Sports as we bring you this year's £1 million game live from the Stade Ernest Wallon in Toulouse. Yes, hello and welcome back to Emerald Headingley Stadium. I trust you were with us for the Women's Grand Final, won in some style by St Helens. We will now focus on the £1 million game and find out who will join the St Helens men's team in Super League in 2022. And to preview this game, John Wells and myself are joined in studio by a man who knows all about engineering a route into Super League through the £1 million game. Former London Broncos coach Danny Ward, you're very welcome along with us.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
This will bring back special memories for you, £1 million game, winning it, of course, in style over in Toronto with London back in 2018.
Yeah, one occasion that this game has very rarely failed to produce some classics over the years, and you know that was a very special night for me personally and the Broncos team to go. It almost feels special as well going abroad. We're going to Toronto, going to France, and playing these games. You know, something special about that, and yeah, what an achievement, what a night, and what a flight home it was.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. There's a very interesting parallel between you guys going over to Toronto to play the heavy favourites, the Toronto Wolfpack as the London side, and Featherstone, and what James Webster and they are going to have to do over at the home of Toulouse, who have been unbeaten so far this season.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. I think Featherstone have travelled over there today. You know, we had the challenges of going over to Toronto. That season we went over 3 times. So we learnt so much from each time we went over to Toronto that almost felt when we did go back that we'd nail it, and we felt so confident going over there as the underdogs. No pressure. Again, going into a bit of a lion's den and having that, you know, backs against the wall mentality to come out and do a job on someone in their own back garden. It always gets the best out of players.
John Wells, whether it's Toulouse Olympique or Featherstone Rovers into Super League, we will have quite the story for 2022.
Absolutely. And it's been a story already, hasn't it? I think these are the 2 standout teams, the 2 benchmark teams in the Championship, and no one can argue that they go head to head. I guess the big questions are going to be, are we going to see an element of stage fright from Toulouse? There's been little bits that we've seen, particularly in that semi-final against Batley, and particularly in that first 40 minutes. I think they really flattered to deceive there in the first half. Not a bit of it with Featherstone Rovers. They looked very, very comfortable last week, didn't they? So I think this is all set up for a fantastic battle, and the prize, as we know, is enormous.
Of course, they've met once already this season. It's been Featherstone's solitary defeat, going down 23-6 at home against Toulouse. Will add a little incentive for James Webster and his team.
I think so, yeah. They were poor that night with Featherstone. They've been fantastic all year, like John said, the 2 standout teams in the comp, and they were poor that night when they lost to Toulouse. They'll know that. But you've only got to beat them once, and that's in the £1 million game. So they'll be thinking that Toulouse may be overconfident, playing at home, be playing into their hands a little bit there. So yeah, again, it's only on that one night that it matters.
Give us a little summary of both of the clubs from Danny Ward's perspective. How would you neatly sum up Toulouse, the way they play, and the same for Featherstone?
Toulouse are a fantastic team. You know, come up against them many a time in Wales at London, and they just, that French flair, the tries at the scores, and the creativity from players like Corella and Ford. You know, they're great to watch. Not when you're an opposing coach. It's caused me nightmares, certainly Corella and Ford over my time. But they're fantastic to watch, and he's done a fantastic job as Sylvain there. He's put together a really good side. You know, I'm impressed by the signings they've made this year. You know, they've gone out and just said, right, we're putting the best team in the Championship, we're putting the best squad out there, and the players have signed have been fantastic.
Would I be unfair if I said with Featherstone there's a bit more of the grittiness, a bit more of a structured play to them?
I think so, yeah. I think, you know, there is that grittiness. They've got some tough players, you know, players who played the top level, you know, players like Wellham and Ferris. They've got some experience, and the tough team to play against. They've got some big bodies, Kopchak up front, you know, Lockwood, the tough, rugged players who they're going to have to be on top of the game to get ahead of that Toulouse pack today. But yeah, very well coached by Webby. He's done a fantastic job at Featherstone, and again, they're just attacking football as well from both sides. I think they've outscored Toulouse this year, so Will there be points? I don't know, because these are normally low-scoring affairs as well. But you'd like
As
to
yours
think
was
it could
in 2018.
be. It could be 54-62 this tonight. Who knows?
You're setting this up beautifully for us. We're going to hear from the coaches now. James Webster shortly, but first the man in charge of Toulouse Olympique, who has yet to be defeated in this 2021 season, Sylvain Houlez.
The pressure and the expectation of Toulouse today, is that difficult to deal with as a coach, to get the psychological side of it correct with your players?
Yeah, it is. You know, like you say, playing a home grand final is not the easiest. You know, especially like when we haven't played that many games over here. But I believe, you know, in our players, we've got a lot of experience, players with experience. You know, on a big moment like that, you know, we've got 7 players who won the Super League or Challenge Cup final. You know, so. That was the aim anyway. You know, like that's what the process started at the beginning of the season. So
you're a confident kind of coach and confident kind of players in your team. Will you go out all guns blazing today? Or are you going to time it like you did last week against Batley?
Nah, you know, like the opposition are much better. You know, like, in no disrespect to Batley, but you know, like Featherstone has been tremendous all season. You know, so it's going to be a proper grand final.
You hope for a very big crowd today. Got good support last week. The turning out, you can see now the stands are filling up. You're getting great support after having 18 months almost without a home game. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's huge. Like you say at the beginning, it's huge for the club, it's huge for the city, you know, and backing up, you know, in 8 days. We had more than 6,000, you know, the first game, and probably there'll be more tonight, you know. So it's credit to our club, the city, and I think to our sports, you know, like there's something buzzing around it.
Great. Thanks a lot.
You know, we've had a good trip. Obviously, it's a great stadium and it's a very big occasion for us. So we feel we're prepared well for it, and we're looking forward to the occasion.
When it's such a big game, is it difficult for a coach to keep that pressure and the excitement in check when you're training with them?
Not really. These guys work, so they're at work all day. You know, we've had a couple of sessions at night. We've kept it as a normal week. We haven't trained any more or any less than what a normal week is for us. But, you know, we're pretty relaxed and we're ready to go. We're looking, as I said, we're looking forward to what should hopefully be a really special occasion.
So a special occasion last night at Old Trafford, a very brutal and physical and exciting, controversial game. Are you expecting the same today, James, or a more expansive kind of game?
Well, obviously, Toulouse play a different style from most teams. They use the ball. They're extremely experienced, got a lot of good attacking players. I would like it to be a similar game to last night, to tell you the truth. I think that would suit us more. We're not really looking for it to be a game of touch and pass. You know, they're very good at that. So, yeah, we want to try and make it a tough game, try and put them in some difficult situations, but it's easier said than done.
Perfect conditions. I've seen the flat cappers are in town. Your supporters, hundreds of them, have turned up today. You must be very grateful to have that behind you.
Yeah, well, we've had great support since day one, since I've been at the club. They've travelled home and away in vast numbers. Extremely hard to get to France at the moment from England with short notice as well. You know, and I've heard, you know, the centre of town's been packed and they've all been having a good time, and I'm sure they'll make themselves heard tonight.
You know, and they did the same in 2019, travelling to Toulouse, beating Toulouse Olympique, and then heading over to Toronto to face the Wolfpack. They ultimately went down in that 2019 £1 million game, but the Featherstone supporters, well, they travelled in huge numbers. Steve Brady asking the questions there of both coaches. Really interesting point made by James Webster. He wants it to be a close attritional game like it was last night because, as he says, touch and pass isn't going to suit us. It will suit Toulouse Olympique.
Yeah, that's their strengths, as we spoke about, but it also can be their downfall. As we saw last week against Batley, the amount of errors that they came up with, you know, it's one of them. You want them to play expansive. Do you just have to cop that as part of your game? But they came up, and if they come up with them amount of errors,
they produce that first half like they did against Batley, against Featherstone here today. Featherstone could put this game to bed.
I think they will. I think Featherstone will punish them if they play anything like they did last week in that first half. And again, you want to see that free-flowing football. It's what they're famous for, but it can be their undoing. If Featherstone, you saw, they've been to Toulouse before. They went to £1 million game Toronto. A lot of them players played in them games, so they'll be well up for it. And all you got to do is, if you get in their face, get in Toulouse's face, force them errors, be them first on them loose balls. You know, you're going to have a lot of joy against this team.
This is the balance, John Wells. They're so good, so exciting to watch, but when they force errors and they cough up errors, they give the opposition a chance.
That's the quandary, isn't it? Because ultimately that is the DNA of this Toulouse side, and they're not going to change it. And Sylvain Houlez would not want them to change that. It's all about finding a game balance and not being conservative, not pulling your punches, but just trying to find the right time to make those plays, because there's no doubt about it, you know, when they do it, they're unplayable. I mean, their average score for and against is 54 points to 9 this season. So, you know, that's incredible. But it's just about finding that balance on the day against a very, very dangerous opponent.
Maybe they have found a balance in a roundabout way. James Ford, who was our studio guest for the semi-finals, he said, what I've seen in them is the same amount of errors, just a greater willingness to defend their errors. So he didn't expect them to stop throwing the ball around, chancing their arm, but he just said, you've now got a side who can probably front up in defence better than they did in previous seasons.
Yeah,
fair assessment?
That's the big one, I think. The defensive-ness and the willing to defend is as best as it's been from Toulouse. And that was one area that, you know, you probably know you get them. If you got them into a set-for-set battle, you know that you'd probably blow the tyres off eventually because they cough up that much ball. But that's really changed this year. With players like, you've been in the experience of Casti, Harrison Hansen, players like that who've done it on the big stage, done it at top level, and they've just got that steel about them in defence. But, you know, again, if you do cough up them, there's only so much defending you can do. If you're going to invite teams down into your own half constantly, there's only so much you can keep turning up for each other on your goal line. But like I say, it makes for an exciting game.
For former Super League stars across the field, particularly in the Toulouse Olympique pack, we can hear from a couple of them now that are hoping to get their sides back into the competition in which they once starred. It'll be Craig Hall and Frenchman Eloi Pellissier.
Eloi Pellissier, you're looking forward to today's game. It's a very exciting atmosphere building in the stadium.
Yes, all the team are very exciting. It's, for French Rugby League, this game is such important. It's a big page of the Rugby League history in France. So yeah, we know that. We're very exciting, but we know our job. So today we have to do the job correctly and to try to write maybe the beautiful page of Rugby League story.
I think we saw yesterday Catalan Dragons and St. Helens, an epic bruising encounter. Do you expect the same thing today, Eloi?
Yesterday, Catalan Dragons, the game was amazing. The intensity of the game. We all watching the game yesterday together in a hotel, and we just spoke about intensity of the game. They set for set, and a little thing can change the game, like one penalty, one serve, and the Catalan Dragons, I think they win the respect of the Super League, and they did a crazy job. So I already congrats my friend Benjamin Garcia, because he's a good friend of mine, and I told him you impress everyone. So congrats for the year, and it's a shame they lost, but today we have to win for them, for Rugby League in France. So,
it's been an exciting week for us. Obviously we had Wembley this year, so. We've been there and done that, but it's an even bigger stage with this £1 million game. Featherstone have never been in Super League, and that's where we want to be.
Has the coach band talk of all this all season? Because you've been the favourites with Toulouse all year to come to this fruition. Has the coach band talk of it until recently?
Even this week, it's not been anything different. We've just prepared for what's in front of us as we've done each week. So we've come here on the back of some good sessions. We've had a good chilled day travelling across. So we're looking forward to it.
Do you think the big days at Wembley will help you with any nerves today in this big game performance?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it was a big day. Totally different squad with the injuries and sickness that we had. So as healthy as can be now, and lads are just ready to put in last 80 minutes of the year.
What's the mood? Real confidence?
Yeah, confident. I think you've got to be in a final. If you go in not confident, then you're going to come out on the wrong end of the results. So we've come here, as I'm sure as the travelling fans have. The fans are absolutely fantastic down at Fev. So we'll hopefully give them something to sing to for the rest of the night and tomorrow.
There's quite a few flat caps around the centre of Toulouse at the moment. Not many berets.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. After the game last week, there was all jumping on to book this trip. So they're going to follow us wherever they are. Quite a few of them went down to Wembley, and I'm sure they're doing it again today.
Craig Hall, one of a number of Featherstone players hoping to get back into Super League, this time with the Rovers. In Craig Hall, in the likes of Craig Kopchak, Dale Ferguson comes in on the bench, Chris Wellham, players you mentioned already, and coach James Webster. They've got the materials and they've got the mastermind in charge of them to pick apart Toulouse Olympique.
They have, yeah. Craig Hall, he's been probably the best player in the comp this year. He's so impressive. Some of the things that he can come up with a football, is unbelievable. So they've got them players, I think, and the experience. They've played in big games, like I said. I think people have wrote them off, which, they're playing to Fev's hands. They've been underdogs. Everyone's talking about Toulouse. There's all the hype there in Toulouse and big crowds, and everyone's talking about them being in Super League and what they can offer, and that'll just fuel Featherstone into, just getting their heads down and wanting to come away with this victory.
A very patient 42-10 semi-final win over Halifax, John.
It was, and there's an individual that I want to speak about very briefly. Tom Holmes started the game last week in the semi-final, and it wasn't until the introduction of Dane Chisholm on the bench on around the 45-50 minute mark. That man made a massive difference, and it is no surprise to see him starting in the halves with New Brown today. I think he had such a positive impact, particularly the kicking game, and he's going to cause some real problems for Toulouse. This is not a foregone conclusion. This is a really tight game, and that man is a really astute coach as well, who will have his men well drilled, well rehearsed, and well ready for the challenge that awaits them.
You don't have to spend long in James Webster's company to get a rugby league overload. He lives, breathes, reads it voraciously. I don't know anybody that reads more about rugby league than James Webster.
Such a smart coach and a great bloke to talk to, and it's so calming as well. You can sense that around the lads. He's such calming influence in the changing rooms, and you hear a lot of good things about him as a coach. And I think the boys just want to play for Webby. And again, he's coached at top level, and he's done a fantastic job at Featherstone.
Your point on Dane Chisholm is well made. I'm just wondering, would he be that spark in an otherwise fairly structured side? Would he be that spark that might be what Featherstone need at certain times in this game?
100%, yeah. Just echoing what John said there, I thought it was fantastic when he came on. And he's just one of them players who can just create something out of nothing. Because we're talking about Toulouse's players, that they've got the likes of them, and you've got Chisholm there who he can just create something. They're exciting players to watch and exciting players to have. Because in tight games like this it might all it be. It might just be a clock off in defence, and players like Chisholm can read it, they see it, and they're there to take it.
Take us back to 2018. I'm guessing you go to play Toronto. What was important was that you didn't allow Toronto to own the day and own the occasion, which they would have done had they scored points and tries very early in the game. What was the plan for your London side? What aspects of that plan do you think James Webster could use today to quieten the Toulouse side and their crowd?
You just need a good start. You've got
to what's a good start? Describe a good start from a coaching perspective.
A good start for me would be, knock off your first 5 sets, complete your first 5 sets, kick well. Not saying just up your jumper stuff, you're still playing your football, playing within your structures, but make sure you complete them first 5 sets. Go set for set, get that other team, get that other forward pack in the grind there, make them turn around, make them get behind the ball, defend. If you're 0-0 after 10 minutes, and that's what we aim to do at Toronto. We got a lucky break. We got a try chalked off straight away, more or less the first set, and the longer you get it in, then doubts crept into their minds, because we've been over there twice previously. Toronto got beaten comfortably both times, got a good hiding twice in Toronto, and I think that just creeps into their mind. You take them to a place where probably they've not been before, and this Toulouse team, they've won comfortably every week for the majority of the season, and that's what we spoke about. I know Fordy mentioned it last week, is you've got to take them somewhere where they've not been, take them to that uncomfortable place, and that hopefully a little bit of doubt will creep in, and they're not used to being in them tight games.
Well, they were in a tight semi-final against Batley, and in a sense, Featherstone need look no further than what Batley did in that first 40 minutes. Unfortunately for Batley, doubt didn't seem to creep into the minds of Toulouse, because they played exactly in the second half as they did in the first half, but Batley cracked.
Yeah, and this, we go back to the point we made right at the start, and that is ultimately Toulouse Olympique will play how Toulouse Olympique will play, and it is your job as the opposition to try and frustrate them and stop them from doing that. And Wardy's comments about getting in the fabled arm wrestle, completing your sets, completing high, turning them around, putting them in corners, at least makes them do it honestly. Doesn't give them a leg up, doesn't give them a shortcut, and that's what Batley unfortunately did in that second half. They went away from what worked for them in the first half. I won't expect that from Featherstone tonight.
We've had a real French flavour to rugby league this weekend on Sky Sports. Last night we saw Catalan Dragons in their first ever grand final, of course, going down to St. Helens. Will we see a second French side join them in Super League in 2022? Will it be Toulouse Olympique, or will it be Featherstone Rovers, the flat cappers, who join the elite competition next season? You will find out here with us on Sky Sports Arena. We've got the 2021 £1 million game coming up after this.
Cry 6, out now at Game. Play it on the all-new Xbox.
With Vodafone Evo, you can get the latest smartphone on the UK's unbeatable network for reliability.
She'll be here in a minute. Just be yourself, Dad.
Vodafone, the UK's unbeatable network for reliability. Together we can.
Let's hear it for the quitters. Every day in the UK, more than 1,000 people give up smoking. And with Nicorette Gum to act fast and keep fighting your cravings for hours, you can join them. Nicorette, let's do something incredible. And for fast-acting craving relief, try Nicorette Quick Mist to start tackling your cravings in just 30 seconds. Nicorette, let's do something incredible.
Can you buy a car that's passed a 300-point inspection, been carefully reconditioned, and comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee? Kazoo, yeah you can.
This is the Watt Bike Atom. The smart bike that measures your workouts 1,000 times per second. That links effortlessly to your training apps. And gets these reviews. There's only one smart bike you'll ever need. And it's only available at wattbike.com.
That's a Chromebook with built-in virus protection, so you can click with confidence, with no more of this, and a lot more peace of mind. Switch to built-in virus protection. Switch to Chromebook.
Back in the day, we named it Cookie Dough. But we should have named it Cookie Dough. Because it's crammed so full of fair trade cookie dough and free grazing dairy, it's hard to keep a lid on. Ben & Jerry's. Peace, love, and cookie dough.
The world's moving faster than ever, with huge moments of history unfolding almost day by day. In these uncertain times, we want to hear your questions, your experiences, and your solutions to the most pressing issues in the news. We'll debate the main story of each week, getting to the facts with a group of leading experts, our virtual viewers panel, and you at home. Join me, Trevor Phillips, on The Great Debate on Sky News and Sky Showcase.
It's about making history. It's about innovating. It's about breaking barriers. It's not just about the past. It's about the future too. Celebrate Black History Month this October on Sky.
Winner today becomes the 24th team to play in Super League over the course of the competition's 27-season history. It's the 2021 £1 million game. Toulouse Olympique, unbeaten this season, take on the Featherstone Rovers side. They have beaten in their only defeat of this year so far. Kick-off at 6 p.m. from Stade Ernest Wallon coming up. Let's bring you the sides. Toulouse Olympique, unsurprisingly unchanged from the side that had that 9-try semi-final win over Badly. The players to keep a close eye on: fullback Mark Corella and halves Jonathan Ford and Tony Gigot, of course, who has got plenty of Super League experience. On the bench, Sylvain Houlez has gone for 3 forwards and a very, very nippy interchange hooker in Eloi Pelissier. Now, the Featherstone Rovers side have made a couple of changes to the team that beat Halifax 42 points to 10. They come in on the bench with Dean Parata and Dale Ferguson being recalled by coach James Webster. Dame Chisholm, who started on the bench against the Panthers, gets a start in the halves alongside Famuno Brown. All right, Danny Ward, former coach of the London Broncos, who engineered a £1 million win over the Toronto Wolfpack. Listen, back in 2018, you've come up with a game plan for Featherstone Rovers to keep themselves in this game, particularly at the start of the match. For Toulouse Olympique, any different messages from Sylvain Houlez in preparation for this one so they don't slip up on the big day?
I think what they'll be doing is exactly what they've done all year. They play exciting football, and they won't change that. You know, they've got an attacking brand there. They'll just have to, I think, just be smart. If if it's the right time to offload. If they make an error or two, then you've got to, let's say, you've got to get back to basics a little bit and knock off that next set. Maybe they're just a little bit of a message from what he saw last week. Is we just can't go back-to-back errors. As in, we're going to play football. We'll come up with errors. We've got that steel about us to defend if we do make them errors. But let's not totally kill ourselves, because this team, this Featherstone team, if you give them opportunities, I think they'll take them today.
Mark Crella, I know a player you've made no secret of your admiration for. James Ford and Tony Gigot, the battle plan to shut them three down. Does it come with shutting them down directly, or the supply chain for them?
Do you know what? It's one of those ones where I'm not sure you can make a plan to shut down Tony Gigot. You probably can. You can make an argument for Johnny Ford, and obviously Mark Carella's game will be stunted if you do that. But Tony Gigot in particular, I think he's somebody who he could be your greatest strength and your biggest weakness as Toronto, and as he's proven in his time with the Catalan Dragons as well. A precocious talent, a mercurial talent, not somebody you would ever try and game plan, because you know he doesn't know what he's going to do next. Never mind anybody else trying to assess it. What you do is you try and let him get on with it, but the only thing you can do is deny him time. If you can deny him time and space, the rest should look after themselves. That'll certainly be a key element of the game plan for Featherstone.
Do you know enough about Tony Gigot to come up with some sort of a plan to shut him doin, or is there anything you can do? Just prepare for the Maverick.
Yeah, like John said, you've just got to get up and get in the face and cut that time off. We always used to do loads of video on Ford and Carella, and he's going to pop up here, he's going to pop up on his hip, he'll pop up out back inside. Ford will hit the long ball, short ball, and then you've just got to go out and defend it. You know, stick in your systems best you can, because you know he's unpredictable and he's got the good skill to back it up. So we just used to work hard on just getting off the line. If it's that back rower opposite Ford or opposite Gigot, he's got to get off his line, put him under as much pressure as he can. Again, if you can force headers on him, you can do. Get in the head a little bit, try and rattle them halfbacks early as possible.
A star who hasn't got a mention thus far, but was outstanding for Featherstone in their victory over Halifax, Frankie Holton, who we definitely will see in Super League next year, signing for Tony Smith's Hull Kingston Rovers. He may go out here on a very special note for the Fev size that he's starred for.
He would certainly hope so, and he was one of a number of seriously impressive performances at Featherstone last week, and I think one of his first carries, just rolling over a back row onto a half. Just that knowledge that where the soft spots are in defensive lines, and then of course that galloping, bullocking run that he made towards the end of the game, and all the hard work and all the hard-nosed stuff in between. One of a number of standout performances. That's essentially what it was for Featherstone. It was, there was individual brilliance there from Dane Chisholm, but that was a team performance that got them into the position they're in now, and I wouldn't expect anything else. And Frankie Holton and Callum Field and all those, the decorated back rowers would say that's what they'll do again.
This is going to be a really difficult question to maybe answer, and it certainly is to
ask it to Danny then.
Yeah, I'll go to Danny. I mean, the answer's maybe easy. You may dismiss it instantly. Is it in a sense bigger for a club than a grand final? I'm looking at the history of Toulouse Olympique and to Featherstone. For them to get into Super League for the first time, I mean, winning a grand final, of course, would be a tremendous achievement for a Super League side, but getting promoted into Super League is a history-defining moment for a club.
100%, yeah. You can only speak about this is the biggest game in their history, and it's where they're at now is in the Championship. So the biggest game for them is to get to Super League. For both teams, it's going to be huge. There's so much on the line in this game. That's what makes it so exciting. This £1 million game, and both teams who can bring so much to the competition next year. But for a team like Toulouse to come up through the ranks like they have done from League One to Championship, see the progression that they've made.
It could change the course of French Rugby League with Toulouse getting into the Super League.
100%. The legacy that'll leave to have two French teams, that French derby, the juniors who aspire to pick up a rugby ball and just go play league. It's going to inspire that next generation, which is fantastic for the game. More players playing in French players playing the Super League is going to be better for international game. It'll be fantastic.
Very briefly, if Featherstone win this, it'll instantly create a number of different rivalries between Castleford, Wakefield, Huddersfield, Leeds. So there's a real argument there. And listen, all those flat cappers will say they will voice their support passionately. If Toulouse win, I think it doesn't just change the dynamic in the south of France, it changes the dynamic for this sport, the top tier of this sport. You've got two teams outside the heartlands, outside the UK. That's a cultural and spiritual change to the direction we've been going for 20-odd years.
I know a few of those flat cappers you referred to now. Robert Hicks will take charge of this, the 2021 £1 million game. Remy Cassidy receives applause laid out onto the field here. Let's go to our commentaries now. Phil Clark, Barry McDermott, and first Stuart Pike.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, a day of destiny. As always, before the £1 million game gets underway, both teams will show their solidarity against racism. The applause for Remy Castille, his last ever game of an illustrious career, retiring at the age of 36. The £1 million game is seconds away. Both coaches have hammered out the message. This is the biggest match in the club's history. Some Featherstone fans may argue when they look back at winning the Challenge Cup, but there is so much more at stake. For Toulouse, 80 minutes from history, a defining moment for both sides. 80 minutes away from Super League. Can Featherstone put years and years and years of toil and trouble and strife and disappointment behind them? Or can Toulouse make history by becoming the second French team in Super League? Robin Hicks is the referee, Chris Kendall is the video referee, and we're ready to go. A crowd of around 8,500 to 9,000 inside the Stade Ernest Fallon. And Marc Corella gets us underway on this day of reckoning ahead of Super League 22.
Yeah, important for both sets of players to get an early touch. Everybody's aware of the gravity of this game, and you can feel the atmosphere through the TV screen, can't you? Expectancy on both sets of fans, both sets of players. I'm looking forward to this. Should be an absolutely belting game.
All the way, Anthony, good now.
Well, early stages, it's interesting what Danny Ward was saying pre-game. For me, one of the most important things he said, that first 10 minutes of the game for Featherstone. Just play the game and keep Toulouse out and build the pressure, with all the pressure on Toulouse, who are starting as 9-2 odd favourites to win this. Conditions perfect in Toulouse. The ball back with Chisholm. The kick goes away around about 66 degrees. Taken on the bounce there by Latrell Schunkel, who only was past fit to play an hour before the game. He's had a knee injury all week. You can see him strapped up. Former London star Guy Armitage was on standby, but Schunkel plays, and Toulouse are unchanged. And here is Marc Corella. What a player, what a performer he has been for Toulouse at Olympique over the years.
Some really interesting comments by Danny Ward before the game about how you try and beat a side like Toulouse, but 19 games they've won on the bounce. Each team would try to drag this talented bunch of players into deep water, make them defend, make them be aware of those mistakes and feel the pressure of those mistakes. It's one thing planning for it, it's another thing executing it. A place like Tony Gigot thrive on a stage like this.
Oh, that's a good take. Really well done there by Gareth Gale. It was a high, teasing kick. And Featherstone so far so good in defence.
It's been a great opening 2 minutes, I would say, for the Toulouse side there. You say favourites with the expectation of the crowd behind them. But when you get your best attackers wanting to be your best defenders, we saw Jonathan Ford involved with a tackle earlier on. Well, you know, the mood and the tone's right in the camp.
Well, here is Chris Wellham, plenty of experience in both sides. Wellham, 300-plus career games. We go down the line at the likes of Kopchak and Brett Ferris, Craig Hall, of course. And with the kick away. Another good kick, well taken by Marc Corella, but two decent opening sets from Featherstone, and James Webster, I'm sure, will be very pleased. Here is a Jai Hitchcock, though, always dangerous with ball in hand.
Well, there's that game plan, isn't it? Complete height, get to the kick, make Toulouse work hard away from their own line. And I think the first 10 minutes, you'd expect both sides to set out and go with those high completions, but once the game starts to open up a little bit, for me, it's about how Toulouse invest in those effort areas. Do they want to invest in defence, or they just want to hold in defence until it's the next time to touch the ball?
Well, great charge from Harrison Hansen, repeated by his fellow prop, Remy Castille. Quick play the ball, last tackle. The ball goes wide, and it's Corella who goes towards the corner again, and well taken once more by Gareth Gale. Clear what the target is for Toulouse tonight, but Gale has come up with the spoils twice, and now a penalty. Toulouse offside. I'm sure James Webster, despite the fact you do get the feeling that it's all going the way of Toulouse as far as pressure and possession is concerned, Featherstone and James Webster will be very pleased with this start.
Well, they've got experienced players who've been in games where they've been outplayed in the opening 20 minutes and not capitulated. You need that level of experience in a big match. Your opponents will have their period where they're on top, and then it'll be your turn to dominate possession and field position. Featherstone have shown here they can cope. This penalty was a massive relief and a game changer as we see Remy Castille charge forward, making some good ground there for the Toulouse team.
Anthony Marion, 8 years at Toulouse. Man who was penalised. Robin Hicks having a quiet word. There is Sylvain Houlaz, who's been in charge for 6 years, and it's the combination, really, isn't it? And the dream team, as Toulouse call it, of Houlaz, Marc Corella, and Jonathan Ford, who've been together and built this club up to the position they find themselves in today. A decent field position here for Featherstone. Connor Jones it is here in Chisholm. The ball goes forward. They can't afford to make mistakes like that. Second tackle, ball goes to ground, and Toulouse have it back with Gigot.
A miscommunication, Dane Chisholm, who can open a game up. Very skillful player. We'll talk about Jonathan Ford and Tony Gigot, but don't underestimate the involvements and the input from Dane Chisholm. Got pace, so he's a run threat, he's a pass threat, his kicking game is top-notch as well.
5 minutes on the clock. 0-0. Here is Lloyd White, the Welsh international. Marion, we say the backbone of the side, making his 128th appearance today. Marc Corella breaking the record for Toulouse as far as apprentices go. 129 for the fullback, overtaking Sebastian Planas today. Here is Marion again, halfway, nearly through. Ball goes out now to Jasson. Jasson goes for the line! Has he managed to get the ball down, or has done a fantastic tackle? Jasson, it's sure he scored, and Jasson has scored.
Well, it's good strength, wasn't it, from the centre? And that balance and evasion he uses to get away from defenders. The only question is, does he get this ball down? Featherstone Rovers, well, it's a gallant effort. Is that gallant effort enough?
Dom Peru's footwork here to get them through the line in the first place gives Jasson a chance to get over the line. But Chris Wellham, I think he may save this, Barry. The referee, I think, has awarded it, but I can't see the ball on the ground. Even at that point, to me, there's an arm underneath it. There's too much distance from the grass. Impossible to tell over with this camera angle.
It's maybe a frame or two after that wrestle. It looks like it's down there, and that's the view that Robert Hicks had. He sent it up as a try. Yeah, Dom Peru's offload was special in a big game like this. Let's have a look, let's have a look. Yeah, that's down for me. On-field decisions a try. I think the pictures suggest the same.
Chris Kendall is the video referee. And it's given. The try then goes to Mathieu Jasson, and Toronto hit the front. Fantastic effort there from Chris Wellham to stop the try. But Jasson with his 13th of the season.
Beautiful work. Hitting the edge, you can see that right foot step from Dom Peru. A right arm carry, delivers it on a plate to Jasson. And that's a strong finish. He has to work hard to get that ball down, but gallant effort, as we've already congratulated Chris Wellham. Not enough though.
So Marc Corella, 10 years at Toulouse, breaking the record today. Record appearances for Toulouse Olympique. He adds the extra, and it's 6 points to 0. You had a feeling it had been coming. Featherstone defending really well for the opening stages, but even Wellham couldn't stop Jasson.
Well, we watched the number 4 last week play for them, and he showed glimpses of his ability. But he looked like a downhill skier there, the way he went from side to side between the Featherstone defenders. And that to me is a top-class finish. They look like a side just been bursting to get out onto this field. Full of energy, full of speed. Nice catch there from Corella. And Casti carts the ball forward.
Remy Casti, what a day it would be for him.
I'd say that those Featherstone players, the deep conversation they'd have behind Nora at the side of the sticks would have been about making you one-on-one tackles. You can't, like Toulouse, gain momentum, growing confidence. You've got to put up that resilient wall and put some resistance in front of them. Because when it starts to click, then this scoreboard will start to click also.
Well, they've got to get their hands on the ball. I mean, they've been on the back foot, haven't they, really, from the off? 7 minutes gone. Toulouse in front by 6 points to nil. Here is Harrison Hansen. Interesting talking, you know, with Sylvain Hules this week, saying that Harrison Hansen, one of the toughest players that he's ever seen, and that's a compliment.
He's cut out of some cloth as well, isn't he? Shane Hansen, his dad was one of the toughest I ever played against, former Salford forward. But Harrison Hansen, wherever he's been, he's added that steel, and it won't be just what he does on the field, it'll be how he prepares in the week and what he's prepared to put his body through to get ready for battle.
Well, Wellham there was looking for a penalty, an offside penalty or not standing square. Here is Lockwood. James Lockwood has been such a servant down the years, a decade at Post Office Road. Now moving it to this right-hand side. Chisholm and Hardcastle. Last one, the midway inside the Toulouse half. They trail 6-0. New Brown it is, and now Chisholm.
Last tackle, they're running it.
Yep, Ferris now with a kick over the top. Is there any space? But Corella does well, just shadows the ball out. Experience there of the fullback Mark Corella.
Bravery and courage there for Featherstone to run on the last tackle.
Our guest last week, James Ford, made a reference to this, that more than any other rugby league team in the UK, he's seen Featherstone run the ball on the last tackle. Eventually they may kick it, but they are willing to do that, and they will again in this game, I suppose. Expect the unexpected is the best way of surprising your opponents.
The way that James Webster, the coach, likes to play it. Well, James Webster was the coach in the most dramatic £1 million game of all time, wasn't he, for Hull Kingston Rovers back in 2016 when they suffered that heartache with the Golden Point defeat. Gareth O'Brien's monster drop goal. He's hoping for better today, Webster, who's made a big difference since he took over at Featherstone. Corella at dummy half, last one here for Toulouse. Gigot it is, goes high once again towards that corner. Oh, and it's put down by Alex Walker, but it went backwards, and Gareth Gale picks up the pieces, and Featherstone survive.
Good communication between the fullback and the winger. Gareth Gale right behind, ready if that ball was spilled by Alex Walker.
Come on, Tony, hold it. Work it, bro. Get up.
Need to try and find some field position. Offload there by Lockwood. Here is Wellham. He's got Hall outside.
Great stuff.
Hall has got pace. They had a foot in touch, I think, and he did. The flag was up on halfway, but that's the way that Featherstone play the game, and that's the way, if they are going to unlock the Toulouse defence, that's the way they've got to be true to their tradition.
It's a great point that Phil makes. You can't go set for set all game and expect to beat a talented side like Toulouse. You've got to throw something at them. They found some space, and one of the quickest players on the field, if not the quickest, in Craig Hall. He just needed 2 or 3 inches more and he was away.
Magnificent weekend it is for French Rugby League. Catalan coming so close in the grand final. One of the best grand finals I think that we've ever seen.
Eloi Pelissier talked about that, didn't he? He talked about doing it for French Rugby League.
3, Callum straight out. Get to marker or 10.
They are very aware of that. Here is Casti. Casti, oh, he's lost the ball. I think he was trying to offload it, but the referee, I think he said that it was stolen there.
Yeah, I don't think
Casti straight away going for 2.
He's not trying to offload that ball, he's bumping players off.
Did he lose control?
No. Connor Jones has got his arms all around that ball.
Would you say, Barry, at the moment, Toulouse are just too powerful for Featherstone in the middle of the field? I mean, the runs and charges they make seem to be making easy meters.
It looks that way. Harrison Hansen, Remy Casti, if you cast your mind back to last week, they were very shifty. And when I say shifty, they were looking to spread the ball, run around Batley, not necessarily get into that midfield battle. This week, it's about go forward and then look to spread it wide after that.
Well, of course, it's the full time of Toulouse Olympique against the part-time of Featherstone Rovers, but they have been hanging on the Toulouse coattails all season, Featherstone. That one defeat, of course, suffered at home to Toulouse, but they haven't been too far behind. But they're now 8-0 behind in the £1 million game. 13 minutes on the clock. And at the moment, Toulouse thoroughly deserving of their lead.
Well, not only do they have the lead, they're now starting to get the majority of possession. Of course, when you score points in rugby league, you tend to get the ball again. And Featherstone, I imagine, here will kick long. Toulouse get another set of possession. And that's slowly here now at this point of the game, 12 minutes in, when players now are starting to breathe heavier. Now, this is the test here now to realise how much you want it.
I think it's always smart in a big game. Terry O'Connor and myself remarked last night, the decision to take 2 points, I think it's always sensible just to have them in the bank. 2 points, half a try, as we say in rugby league, and just gives you time to rethink, reset, and get yourself back in the right mind frame.
Featherstone it is. Good defence again from Featherstone, midway inside the Toulouse half of the field. Marianne.
Hold here, Brett. Hold. Oh, you got Brett.
Have that quick play the ball. There is Shigo. And another good kick downfield. Was that knocked on? What will the referee say? He will say it's a knock on from Alex Walker. I think he was caught in two minds. As whether to let the ball go out or whether to play and try and catch it.
He steps over the red line. Alex Walker as a fullback.
Yeah. I think he's unlucky. I think he knocks the ball backwards. But the referee is...
Whenever there's a fumble, the referee's always going to go on the side of a knock-on.
Well, he shouldn't do, should he, if the ball goes backwards? I think it went backwards and then the ball bounces forwards, but hey...
I think the decision to have a go at it was a mistake. I understand what Stuart's saying. He may well have had in his mind that it could have been a 40-20, but he's at the back and he's got to be laser-like focus on where those feet are of Tony Gigot.
Well, dangerous moments here for Featherstone now as Hansen is stopped right in front of the post, already trailing 8-0. Here comes Toulouse again with Ford with the offload. Carella now finds Latrell Shumkel. Good ball inside again, and bye-bye it is. All the pressure coming from Toulouse Olympique. Lloyd White at dummy half. Casti again, involved in everything, Remy Casti, in the last ever game that he will play. They go to the right-hand side, long pass out, it was nearly intercepted by Wellham, kicks the ball out in frustration, but the pressure now is really building.
He snakes that arm out, doesn't he? Tony Gigot with a really fast... It's not a spin pass, it's a bullet pass, so it's getting from A to B very quickly.
That's the sort of thing, though, Featherstone needing now to turn the game. Remember in mind, 2 years ago, Dane Chisholm scored an interception try against Toulouse when Featherstone pulled off the shock victory there. And that interception is perhaps something that the Olympique side are worried a little about.
Yeah, that was in the playoff semi-finals. And Featherstone going to Toronto and losing in the £1 million game there. Jonathan Ford, another penalty. It may well have been a high shot there by Brett Ferris, and Ferris never shy.
No, he doesn't take no prisoners. No, he doesn't take no prisoners. Brett Ferris, or Fez as the boys call him. He's one of those experienced players who needs to set the pattern, set the standard. On this occasion, what he's doing is maybe just a consequence of the uncertainty of what's going to happen, the landscape in front of him chasing the threat that Jonathan Ford poses.
That's all it is. Stay calm and leave it with me. Jonathan.
An agile ball player.
Jonathan.
Will just unsettle a back rower.
Having a word with the Toulouse captain.
And I may be wrong, but one or two of your players appear to me to want to wind players up. So you get a penalty, and we have that. I penalise Marion, and he puts someone's hand on his face. Deal with your own players, mate, and then I can get on with playing with the game. Because to be honest, exactly.
Well, there you go. Good referee.
And good captaincy as well, though, hasn't it? He's agreed with the referee. He's placated him. Rather than doesn't want to rub him up the wrong way. He's got the penalty. His team have got control.
Keep going. In line with it.
I will say this, he doesn't take much winding up Brett Ferris, does he?
Well, they've got two of the most experienced referees out there for that reason, haven't they?
Yeah.
In Robert Hicks taking charge and Chris Campbell on the video. Corella then to make it 10-0 with 16 minutes on the clock. And there's another 2 points for Toulouse, another 2 points maybe towards Super League in 2022.
It's way too early to be thinking about the game and the value of the game and the win. They'll just be thinking about set by set, minute by minute. On that occasion, they come away with 2 extra points. And again, just press the reset button, go back to the start. Is that kick too long?
Yeah, it looks like it's gone out on the full. Featherstone were claiming it bounced inside. But it looks like a penalty on halfway for Toulouse Olympique.
They need their fair share of possession, Featherstone, don't they? If they are to have a chance, Ian Hardman there on the right.
Which way?
Been a stalwart of this Featherstone club.
He has.
He'll have been a valuable member and a good voice. There's James Webster.
Well, they do find touch.
Come on, boys.
Featherstone doing themselves no favours with penalties given away and a couple of handling errors, then another penalty given away. We haven't seen Featherstone with ball in hand inside the Toronto 20 yet in this game. And Toulouse rather, and they are attacking now with Castney.
You talk about possession, Barry. The Toulouse side have had 40 play the balls and Featherstone just 20. That's a massive difference in a game like Rugby League.
And you're right, and the places where they've been played almost 5 minutes, the home side have spent in their opponent's half with ball in hand, piling pressure on Featherstone.
Well, here is Corella from Ford, and Toulouse are threatening once more. Can't afford to concede again. Jack Bussey it was who's on the field. There is Gigo with a kick over the top for Shumkle. Can he get the ball down? And I think he has. Latrell Shumkle has got another try, has he, for Toulouse Olympique. Robert Hicks is going to send it upstairs, I think, for Chris Campbell to adjudicate on. But that could be 2 tries and another 4 points for Toulouse.
Well, bravery takes many different forms in a sport like Rugby League, but to kick early in the tackle count and then kick in this sort of nature here, they're looking to see whether he's onside, but I can't quite see him in the screen at that angle. Tony Guijo puts it in the corner, the bounce is favourable, and Latrell Shumkle waits, it bounces up, keeps his eye on the ball, and we believe grounds it here to score their second try. Or is there a fumble?
Oh, now then.
Your eyes are better than mine, Barry.
He's got it all the way till... Is it... it's not Craig Hall, is it? It's Gareth Gale. He's got it all the way until Gareth Gale maybe taps his right elbow.
I still think his hands are in control, particularly his left hand at the very least here, to ground the ball. He doesn't need to have 2 hands on it.
Downward pressure. Chris Campbell is the man who will make the decision. And here it comes. It is the try for Latrell Shumkle, the man who they signed from Villeneuve in the French Elite Championship, was top scorer in that competition, and much to muse about now for James Webster. 14-0. We haven't yet played a quarter of this £1 million game.
Well, too many people in Rugby League think you need to wait until the last tackle before you can kick the ball. Well, here they've just shown the advantage of kicking even earlier. The defenders aren't prepared, they're not expecting it, and there's space to be exploited, which is exactly what Shumkle and co do here. Savalmules could not have dreamt of a better opening quarter to the game. 14-0 up inside less than 20 minutes, and Mark Corella invited to make it 2 more. Oh, that touch judge doesn't help. Telsley running past him there to break the concentration.
Corella off the touchline. Pulled it, hooked it wide. 14 points to 0, 20 minutes gone. Your opponents haven't seriously threatened your line. You're going to be very, very pleased with the start.
Well, that's good game plan from Tony Gigot. He knows it's early in the tackle count. He understands that Gareth Gale will be tighter, trying to compress that defensive line, and they exploit that space. And the kick is good, the try is good. 14-0 to the home side.
Harrison Hansen, Frankie Holton in there with the tackle, along with Craig Kopchak. They've just got to somehow try and get their hands on the ball. I mean, we talked about what a chance that was again.
Something Danny Ward said, our studio guest, was about taking time and space away from Toulouse. Don't stand back and watch what they're going to do and try and second guess. Get up and shut it down at source.
Corella to Casti, Remy Casti. I think it's fair to say was bitterly disappointed that Catalan didn't keep him on for another year. But he has a chance to go out on a high by helping Toulouse into Super League. White it is, and there's the kick again from Gigot, and Alex Walker takes it really well. Walker, well, you may remember, under Danny Ward, he was man of the match in the £1 million game when they won in Toronto, and if I'm not mistaken, he actually broke his hand.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yeah, very brave performance by him. And he was sound under those high bombs, but his previous one to the last one, he dropped. And then he didn't look so certain under that last one. So little mental notes will be taking place. Gigot and Ford thinking, let's put it high and put him under some pressure.
Well, here is Lockwood. What can Featherstone do to try and get a foothold in this game?
Well, they've made a change. They've brought Jack Bussey onto the field. Jack Bussey's a player that can run, he can pass, he can offload. Almost got a half-back's thinking brain, Jack Bussey, but he's got the body of a forward. There he is. There you go. He can break a game up, but things have got to go for them. And they've got to all be singing the same song.
Is it Lloyd White down injured?
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah. I think he might have got an accidental boot to the head there.
We might see Eloi Pelissier on a little bit earlier than normal. He normally comes on when the game just starts to open up a little bit. There's Jack Bussey. It's a beautiful offload. It just doesn't stick for Craig Kopchak. Hits him on the shoulder. But he is a player that can open the game up.
Well, Bussey had 2 years at Toronto as well, didn't he? He played in a £1 million game.
Second stint with Featherstone.
Yep.
Jack Bussey. Good footballer.
Well, is White going to leave the field here now? That does seem like a head injury. He's been down, the game stopped.
0, mate.
Well, Toulouse are going to get it back.
0, okay. Tackle 0.
On halfway,
it's a tackle 0
leading 14-0 and in total control of this £1 million game.
Okay, Joe.
James Webster, the Featherstone coach, saying in the week this would be life-changing for so many involved at Featherstone Rovers. But they need a game changer somehow to get themselves into this game. At 14-0, they're not out of it, but you feel if Toulouse get another try here, it's a long, long road back for Featherstone Rovers. Don Peyroux, wrestled to the ground by Chisholm and Ferris. Play on, says the referee. It's a set restart, and another penalty given away in a crucial position by Featherstone. Casti, just looking back, 337 games for Catalan. What a trooper, 13 years in Perpignan. 1 year in Toulouse, but it might be enough to help them into Super League. Lloyd White's still on the field, but I'm sure it won't be long before we see Eloi Pelissier. And another penalty given away, offside in front of the post. Well, it's error, penalty, set, restart, penalty, error.
The penalty was trying to slow the ruck down. And if you're not slowing the ruck down, you can't get back onside. And you're not onside when the ball is played, then that's the second penalty that's given away. Robert Hicks, we can hear him. He's trying to work with these Featherstone players. The pace of the game, how ferocious the ball is being carried by the Toulouse players. They're winning the ruck, they're winning the ground, playing it quicker, and consequently Featherstone are so disorganised in defence.
Stu, you've asked what Featherstone can do. I think they've got to talk confident amongst themselves. I mean, at the moment, the possession, 50 play the balls for Toulouse, 25 for Featherstone. That generally tends to even up later in the game, but they must stay patient here and continue to defend well until it's their turn to get some more possession.
Mark Corella, record point scorer, record appearances for Toulouse. A rueful shake of the head from James Webster. Many Super League clubs over the years have tried to sign Mark Corella. But it looks like at the moment he's going to realise his Super League dream with Toulouse. What a 20 minutes it's been from Castley.
Well, you made a point, didn't you? That he was disappointed to leave Catalan. Sometimes players with a point to prove are the hardest to play against.
Well, this time the kickoff is legitimate, no mistakes, but Featherstone have just made too many mistakes. They had to start perfectly, and with every error and with every mistake and with every penalty given, they're pushed further and further back.
And Mitch Garbutt, the number 18 for Toulouse Olympique, fresh onto the field. The coach, Sylvain Hules, talked about the experience in the squad. Well, of course, during his time as a Leeds Rhino, he's pretty much won everything there is to win. 7 players have been in big finals, big games, and know what it takes to win. There's a low tackle here by John Davis, and it ends up bending the big man back. You watch him come in.
What are the
number
rules,
15.
Barry? You can't hit below the knee. I do think he hits above it, doesn't he?
I think he hits above it, but then the body weight ends up at the top, above the knee, but then because of the angle of the player, it goes against the angle and will have stretched the ligaments in that knee. It looks like he's okay.
Bretherton, it is on the ball. What a career move it turned out to be for Joe Bretherton. A Wiganer at heart, but desperate to play in Super League with Toulouse Olympique. I reckon 500 or 600 Featherstone fans had made the trip to Toulouse. Castley again breaks through. One of the momentous performances has been so far for Remy Castley. Going out on a high, the moment it looked like he is.
Well, those are the best 5 tackles they've made, Stuart, probably in the game. They contain the Toulouse side, but coping with these kicks, catching them on the full and returning them with interest is what Featherstone need more of.
But Gareth Gale, 27 tries on one wing, Craig Hall 26 tries on the other. They score a lot of points, but they haven't looked anywhere near.
No.
Well, they still haven't had the ball inside the Toulouse 20, and we've played 25 minutes.
They haven't been at the right end of the field, and when it's come time to defend, they've been under pressure pretty much 25 minutes. I know they restricted meters, and I know it didn't look pretty, and there was a lot of arm grabbing there from Featherstone, but their effort levels have upped in the last 60 seconds.
There is Chisholm and Wellham. He's got Hall outside him. Stepping inside, Chris Wellham.
Last, move now, get square. Hall, go last.
But it is already the last, and it's Chisholm who goes for the high kick. It's well taken out there.
Jai Hitchcock's, isn't
Jai
it?
Hitchcock, his best mate. Chisholm and Hitchcock went to high school together in Australia. They are godparents to each other's kids. Jai Hitchcock's played in a grand final 2017, didn't he?
Castleford Tigers, yeah.
For Castleford against Leeds. Ford. Jonathan Ford just picked for the Championship Player of the Year award by Craig Hall. Prolific scorer for Featherstone. Vivai, who got 2 tries in that win over Batley in the semi-finals. Mitch Garbutt. 18 months without a home game, over 570 days, and then 2 in a week. 2 of arguably the biggest games in their history, and it's dropped by Gale. It was knocked on as well by Vai.
Not only has Alex Walker been worried by those high kicks, Gareth Gale let the previous one bounce. Smart players, players who think on a different level, will just log that and think, we'll go there again, knock on that door again. You can see all the time it's in the air. He's not confident. Jai Hitchcock's down the other end of the field. He deals with it perfectly and returns with interest, and Gale makes the mistake.
Critical moments in this match now. Another Toulouse try here, and it's a long way back, and Ford gets the ball inside. The run coming from Bretherton. White looking to play the ball quickly, goes on his own. Lloyd White stopped right on that line. Good tackle by Walker.
And a good clear call from the referee. He's in the right place. He was always going to have a crack at that. Lloyd White, good challenge from Joe Bretherton on the defensive line.
Maria, Gigo, Ford, they go across that line. The dangerous Mark Corella. Corella looking for a way through. Offload, but it's picked up, I think it was by Connor Jones. First real error we've seen from Toulouse in the match.
Well, you're right, Stuart, here. This defence is worth £1 million at the very least here to the Featherstone. They cannot afford to concede any more points and build their way back now into this game. The referee thought there might have been a knock-on then.
Lockwood. 35 years of age. Loyal trooper for Featherstone Rovers.
Well, this will help. It sounds like a penalty coming in Featherstone's favour. What, the first time I think they'll start a set inside their opponent's half in what we're almost half an hour into the game. Toulouse have had 8 times as much possession in their opponent's half of the field, and Jack Bussey with a headshot and a penalty kick to touch from Dane Chisholm here gives them a chance, but they've got to find some energy and excitement here. Ball movement, I think, is key to them.
Just goes to show what you were saying. Play the balls in your opposition half. Toulouse 32, Featherstone just 4. Jack Bussey certainly has charged Featherstone up a little. This is their first attack of the game. Real attack on the Toulouse line, and it's come at the half-hour mark. Lockwood, a couple of yards away from the Toulouse line. 16-0 down. You really feel that Featherstone have to score next. Offside has to be, and it was. Jonathan Ford way offside. So a bit of pressure, big build here by Featherstone.
Connor! No! Connor, it's in line with me.
Stress again, they're feeling tired. They've had to do so much defence, half an hour into the match, but they need lots of players moving around the ball here and moving at full speed.
There is Bussey again. So he had that 2 really good, impressive years with the Wolfpack. Lockwood.
Go down.
And he kept holding the ball, go down, yeah, otherwise it would have been obstruction. Ferris making the run. Lockwood doing the sensible thing. Chisholm and New Brown. The Samoan can't find a way through. Bretherton it is. Trying to milk the penalty, not given. Chisholm again. That's a little kick through, and across comes Corella, and again he will shadow the ball behind the post. I'm not sure that was the right option. The first chance Featherstone have had, and it's come to nothing.
That's Dane Chisholm for you, isn't it, though? He thinks differently than most players on a rugby league field. He thinks he spots an opportunity and some open space behind the sticks. It just wasn't enough, though. There's a different level of fatigue in a big final. You're not just dealing with the match fatigue. You're not just dealing with being tired because you're making tackles and carrying balls. You've got all that emotional stress that you're going through. We'll see the kick again. He had to judge it perfectly. Corella did a good job of shielding John Davis away.
There's Brett Ferris receiving a bit of treatment for a cut on the forehead.
He was fuming, you know, when he didn't get that pass, and he strolled through the hole. Jack Bussey in the foreground, but just in the background there, Brett Ferris lot of responsibility on his shoulders, very experienced, and a fierce competitor.
You used to have to leave the field if you were bleeding. You called it the blood bin, didn't you, in the old days? Don't know why we've stopped the game here now.
Running repairs. Going to be a big half-time talk for James Webster. Talking to both chief executives this week, Martin Vickers at Featherstone, Cedric Garcia in Toulouse, saying that financially it's worth maybe 2 or 3 times the description of the game, £2 to £3 million to get it to Super League.
Should we change the name then?
All the add-ons.
Should we change the name?
£3 million
The
game.
£2 or £3 million game. It doesn't have the same ring though, does it? Let's change it to 10 million.
It's worth a few bob though. 16-0, 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Sangaré on the field now for Toulouse. In a big game last week, didn't he?
Get square. Oh, go on, good Jack.
Thunderous charges, big in defence, and he's got an offload. That's 5-5
five.
players out the way.
Of Josh Hardcastle. Hardcastle did have to get out the way.
3, move, Jack, come on with me, hold me. Oh, just play the ball.
Into the last 10 minutes of the first half of the £1 million game. Here is the captain, the talisman, Jonathan Ford.
Hold, go. Last move, Brett. Here we have James. Hold, Frankie. Wait, hold. Go, last.
White, they go the short side. Corella with a little kick through, and across comes Walker. Does well there, Alex Walker. And we'll get the penalty.
Well, I thought I heard the referee say surrender then. And even though he's on the floor, Alex Walker, he was dragged across the field.
Surrender.
Anyway, Featherstone won't be complaining. They went the short side to lose
Long enough, Joe, to know
because they saw the mismatch and they were short of numbers. Alex Walker was desperately trying to get another defender over to that side.
I mean, what you can't afford is one-man efforts here, which would work Featherstone now. I understand the fuel tank's flashing on empty, but they've got to push up around the ball. Don't let your teammate run on his own.
Fair to say they have to score next.
They might have a chance here now, haven't they, with the penalty. This could all change, Stuart. Everyone's perception of this game, if it gets to 16-6 somewhere at a half-time break. Featherstone need to keep that belief. They've got enough experienced players here to know that you can easily come back. They just need an element of luck here now and a moment of magic.
That's what they'll be looking for, isn't it? Frankie Holt. Holt KR bound in 2022, the Ireland International. Connor Jones.
Dale Ferguson on, isn't
good
it?
run. The veteran Dale Ferguson, he's been around a bit, hasn't he, in Super League. New Brown. Runs into Marianne and
Mitch Garbutt.
Tackles well, yeah, Garbutt, Paolo. Couple of tackles left in this set. They're close to that try line. Connor Jones, Chisholm it is, Brett Ferris. After those running repairs for the cut on the forehead. Last one, big play this for Featherstone. Chisholm goes out wide, goes for the corner. But not the best of kicks from Dave Chisholm.
They threatened, didn't they, Featherstone Rovers? They look good with ball in hand. Just a little bit too strong from Chisholm at the back end of that set. They can spend some time down here, maybe force a mistake here in defence. They can enjoy some possession.
All going to plan so far for Sylvain Houlez and Toulouse Olympique. Here is the scorer of the first try, Mathieu Jasson. Noah Pelissier. Yeah, smart move, really smart move, you feel, by Houlez to bring in the veteran Catalan trio, the experience of Gigot and Casti and Pelissier, just to make sure that give them, I don't know, that crucial experience for a charge on Super League. It turned into a good decision. Chip forward by Gigot, and Walker just lets that go out. But Toulouse will be pleased with that. Decent set. It'll end up with Featherstone having the ball back 10 yards away from their own line.
Do you know, I was speaking to Jai Hitchcocks last week before the Batley game. He was talking about how confident they were, how they felt ready for the job that was in front of them. And I asked him, I said, who's the biggest talker in the change room? He said, Tony Gigot never stops talking. He goes around all the different units, middle unit, right unit, left unit, make sure everybody understands what's expected of them. He's a big voice, a big presence, and sets the lead, both on and off the field.
Justin Sangaré on the field for Toulouse. A good player he was outstanding against Batley. If Toulouse do go up, Sangaré, who is signed already for next year, will be one to watch in Super League for sure. Terrific player.
Well, you know, at the start of the game, Stuart, Featherstone's plan seemed to be to go wide, didn't they? Wherever they were on the field, try and stretch and spread the opposing defenders. Now, as they've started to tire, this typically happens. You try and show how brave you are and just run down the middle.
Or when you do pass it, you're passing to somebody who stood still.
Now Ferguson does well. He's made an impression since he came on. There's going to be another penalty. Shows that Paolo penalised there. 2 in the tackle. And they're in a hurry. They've got a little under 4 minutes to try and get some points on the board in this first half of the £1 million game. At the moment, it's Toulouse Olympique who are closing in on Super League. Ferris with the first charge.
Move now. Hold me. Hold. Hold. Straight, that's you. Hold, go. That was you.
Connor Jones. Here is Chisholm. Now Wellham looking for a way through. He couldn't offload the ball. He was looking, wasn't he, for Hall. Hall goes from dummy half. Great run there by Craig Hall. Jasome in there with the tackle along with Carella and Paolo. They keep him out. Chisholm. New Brown.
This is it. This is the big play for Featherstone. They've been setting up for this.
Offside, Joe.
Is this the moment? Ferris for Hall. Hall trying to stretch out, but there's no joy for Craig Hall. Brilliant defence once again from Toulouse. And Featherstone denied once more. They come back into this game in the last 10 minutes or so, but there is no way through.
Smothering defence.
People talk about home advantage in sport, and maybe this is a great example. The crowd lifting here now to help that Toulouse team to get over and save that try.
We're taught, don't we, about energy. It takes more energy to defend, and we've seen for large chunks of this game that Featherstone have defended, and it just drains your energy, drains your tank. Brett Ferris taking some more treatment. It's been very taxing for the Featherstone players. They'll look forward to that sit down at half-time. Bit of communication. Dane Chisholm, he's not afraid to go off script, Dane Chisholm. But what he set up for the Toulouse had the answer, they defended it and got the ball back.
And Featherstone going to have to go off script to get back into this game.
It's a good question, because I don't think they've delivered to any length of time what they set out to do. We saw in the early stages of the game, they were trying to shift the ball, trying to move and find spaces out wide. And very quickly, Toulouse got possession. They scored tries, broke the line a number of times, and then they were in scramble mode from that point on. So they may well go back to plan A, Stuart.
Yep, spot on, without a shadow of a doubt. But you get the feeling as every minute goes by, they're going to have to gamble, aren't they? 2 minutes to half-time, trailing 16-0. Odds-on favourites to go through and win their place in Super League Toulouse.
It is an interesting question, because some coaches say plan B is just do plan A better.
Just so, little kick over the top, Walker comes across, might be under pressure here, and he will be under pressure. Yeah, taking no chances, just throws the ball away, Alex Walker. We've still got around about 80, 90 seconds to go in this first half. Still chance for one more set for Toulouse.
Good game management from Toulouse. Put it behind the fullback with a committed chase. 4 players you could see in the frame. He'd nowhere to go then, Alex Walker.
one more set or one more point, Stuart, here. I think they've got a perfect situation. They're going to have time to get into the middle of the field, and I do think it could be demoralising here if they were able to land a drop goal and take that 16-17, although with that kick, it's got a little more difficult right now.
Tony Gigot will be the one that drops it.
Yeah, we did against Batley, didn't we, in the second half. Sangare, Pelissier at dummy half, and here is Mitch Garbutt won those 2 grand finals with Leeds, and they are inching ever closer, aren't they? Been a dominant display from Toulouse in the first half of this £1 million game. And Pelissier, great run from Pelissier. That's what he's known for. It's Corella. Was it a knock-on? It is a knock-on. And that is the half-time hooter. So in control, it is Toulouse. Brett Ferris will run off for some running repairs. James Webster, the Featherstone coach, has got the team talk of his life ahead of him. Featherstone will feel they're still in with a chance, but it's Toulouse, as it stands, on their way to Super League. At half-time, they lead by 16 points to 0.
Thanks very much, Stuart, Barry and Phil. 16-0 lead for Toulouse in a half in which they seem to have parked the panache. They have got that lead and got the ascendancy in this £1 million game in a most un-Toulouse-like way.
Yeah, they must have been listening to our chat before the game. Well, it's a bit of a team talk from there. They have been controlled. They've looked like a Super League side. They've been more powerful. They've made more meters. The line speed's been good defensively. They look like the Super League side that there could be. Very controlled, disciplined performance, and they've taken the chances. Still, nice kicking game as well. I think has been the difference in the two sides as well.
They are halfway towards Super League in 2022. Toulouse Olympique, they lead in this £1 million game against Featherstone, 16-0 at half-time. We're going to take a break now. After that, we'll get more thoughts from Danny Ward and John Wells as Sylvain Houlez has masterminded a 16-0 advantage over James Webster's Featherstone Rovers.
The thing about being a parent is that you'll never stop worrying, but you'll always find a way to help. My Tutor, the UK's most trusted tutoring platform.
Where am I? Welcome to your world of confusion. I really need to send this email. Is it effect or affect? I affect the ground with fire! We feel the effect of the fire. I'm not confused. I'm confused.com. Face your confusion. Save up to £258 on car insurance.
Get Revolut, because you hate surprises. Like hidden fees just to exchange, withdraw, send, or trade your own money. Get an account that does it all, without any hidden fees. And you know who offers just that? Surprise! We do. Revolut, one app, all things money. Download now. Terms and conditions apply.
You won't catch me buying a new car. Before you know it, you've outgrown it. You want all the latest tech? Nah, I'm a lease man, me. Lease a brand new car from Zen Auto with flexible pricing tailored to your budget. Then after 3 years, you can change it for something new.
What are you doing?
Well, them. Not my real family, actors. Want a new car you can change at the speed of life? Don't buy it, Zen it. Search Zen Auto.
How much does Virgin Mobile charge up front for your dream phone? A big, fat zero. Bang in. Zero upfront costs on any phone, even that shiny new one everyone's talking about. Search Virgin Mobile.
This is the Watt Bike Atom. The smart bike that measures your workouts 1,000 times per second. That links effortlessly to your training apps. And gets these reviews. There's only one smart bike you'll ever need. And it's only available at whatbike.com.
It's time for Napoleon. Vive la France! A brand new series. Why do the Brits win every war?
A new season of NBA. The All-Star Game. Games from every playoff series and NBA Finals. All on Sky Sports.
Bald eagle! Oh! You just killed America!
Banter. Good-natured insult.
I'll have your finest tequila.
No.
I'll have a vodka martini.
No.
How good is your American accent?
Really not very good, ma'am.
You getting off on that?
Guess you'll have to take back seat.
Stick your hands up where the sun don't shine.
You want me to stick my hands up my butt?
What?
Where the sun don't shine. That would be my butt. Showtime.
Professional sports puts you into some really extreme environments.
A lot of these kids, they look at us professionals and think we're invincible. We're far from it.
At the age of 6, I've been taken away from my parents to grow up in a social service house.
10 years ago, I lost those two friends through poor mental health. It affects all of us.
I was excelling career-wise, but I was at crisis point in my head. You always want it to be a fairy tale ending, and it didn't happen for me.
Host of former rugby league stars open up about their battles with mental health and provide an insight into their mission to educate the next generation on the importance of this issue ahead of the game. 5 p.m. next Friday on Sky Sports Arena as part of Movember's mental health programme. We're at the half-time point of the 2021 £1 million game, and as it stands, we will have Toulouse Olympique in Super League in 2022 as they lead 16-0. A couple of first-half tries and 3 Mark Corella penalties have pushed them ahead of James Webster's Featherstone Rovers, who have 40 minutes to rescue this match and claim their place amongst the game's elite next season. Right, we finished that first half talking about how it was an un-Toulouse-like performance, a very disciplined, a very controlled performance. That has taken you somewhat by surprise.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not what we've come to expect, but they've still had them moments in there. You know, the early kick for the try just over the top, which is a fantastic kick to space. You know, the offload from Peru that created the first try. They've still got that in there. They've still got the bit of flair and a bit of play in them, but they've been controlled. They've just known when to do it.
The flair came early, John, and it came with rewards.
Yeah, this was the step from Peru, and then look at this from Jason. 3 steps there. That last one was beautiful, wasn't it? And not enough seen by the video referee to turn that over. Valiant effort in defence by Chris Wellham. And then from the second angle, Chris Wellham involved in defence there. And then you fast forward 2 or 3 minutes, Tony Gigo fires a bullet pass left to right. And that's almost picked off by the Featherstone centre. And how different the first half story might have been.
I'll tell you what, he's lucky to stay on the field.
Yeah, it was direct contact with the head. And then even after that penalty from Corella, Featherstone go and compound things by kicking the ball out on the full. It was New Brown was the culprit. And then came the Schonkel try, and it was Tony Gigo again, flashes of brilliance, bookended by real good structure and discipline from Toulouse. And I guess that's been the real watchword of the first half, the discipline shown by them in attack. Lack of discipline, as we'll see in a moment, in defence. 3
Mark Corella penalties. When they came, they didn't surprise you that they were going to just keep clipping off the twos?
Yeah, I thought they might have chose to run it. So I thought the first one was a correct decision, go 8-0 down, 8-0 up, sorry. But I thought they might have had a chance to run it, because I think Fev were under the pump there, and I think they could have really taken another chance and scored another try and gone even further ahead. But you know, they're 16-0 up, so.
Possession-wise and territory-wise, it did change in favour of Featherstone. At one stage, 32-4, play the balls in the opposition half. It changed then at the end of the half, 36-18. So Fev will look back in that first 40 and think we could have perhaps got over the line.
Yeah, and it was down to it was invitations from Toulouse though. Featherstone, crucially for them, weren't allowed to take advantage. This is probably the best example of those. You know, really poor executed kick, really poor end to a set. And even when they did spend some time down that end of the field towards the back end of the first half, Toulouse that defence that we talked about pre-game, that was the difference perhaps between the 2021 iteration of Toulouse and previous years, was there for everybody to see.
Not a million miles away from here in the rugby league mad part of the world that is Featherstone. They'll be watching this game, hoping and praying their side can turn it around. Have you seen anything to suggest Featherstone can get back in this?
Of course they can. It's a game of rugby league, and they come out the second half. They're not going to play any poorer than I think they did first half. I think, like John was saying, they didn't give themselves a chance. Like kicking on third tackle that went dead, another poor kick, from Chisholm. Every time I see them got down there, they come up with an header or a poor kick. So that's where we'll be saying. I don't think they can go out any worse. Back to game plan. So when you get the opportunity to be in that half, go camp down there, go spend some time there. And put Toulouse under the pressure that hopefully they can crack.
Well, they know the disappointment of a £1 million game defeat, and they've got 6 members of the side that went down to Toronto in 2019. They'll be hoping not to repeat that. It is only 16-0. You get a feeling the first score of the second 40 is going to be all important. We have got the second half coming your way here on Sky Sports Arena from the 2021 £1 million game, a place in next year's Betfred Super League on offer. Toulouse in the box seat at the moment.
Yes, the best excuse is Christmas. It's the excuse of the year. For Christmas lights on Happy Night.
Mince pie season's here.
Get a pass because it's Christmas. It's the excuse of the year. Use kids' wishes.
Get 'em doing dishes.
Keep your conscience clear. Oh, by God, use a jolly merry excuse this year.
Start Christmas early with Very.
Whether it's retirement, investments, insurance or health, we can help you plan for a brighter future. It takes a partnership. It takes Aviva.
Just want to start a flame in your heart.
Travel with grace, baby. I can't afford to cover the course. Of course, maybe settle that one in court. Cause judging by the basics, y'all already comfortable, stuck up in the matrix. Just because the seasoning and flow's already active. Only 4 years. Fantastic. Young veteran. New classic. Name Tembo, first name Eve. Somebody ate the food they told the great to never eat.
Every home should be a haven. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
I never thought I'd be standing here. This time last year I was quarantining before it was cool.
Hi-yo! Too soon, maybe.
He's charismatic, open-minded, independent. This guy?
I'm very open to the idea of a robot police force. If you believe in something, don't take no for an answer. Except sex. Now that's different.
Come on, brother. The other Flummels are waiting for us.
How do you talk me into these things?
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the future.
It's amazing. Isn't this place great?
Your ideas cause us nothing but trouble.
I don't remember you saying that.
I thought it.
Just a reminder of the scoreline from the Stade Ernest Wallon in Toulouse. The home side, Toulouse Olympique, unbeaten so far this season, have a half-time lead, 16-0 over Featherstone Rovers. Both battling for a place in next year's Super League. Danny Ward, we finished up that first half analysis with your assertion that it can't get so bad again in the second half for Featherstone. James Webster will have to come up with a bit more than that at halftime, although I believe Doug Lawton at one stage in his career as a coach did walk in and says, come on lads, we can't be that bad again. You've got to give us a little bit more detail on that. What in particular would you like Featherstone to fix up in the second 40?
I think the attack was poor, certainly in Toulouse's half. The times that they did get down there, they lacked creativity. You know, that's why I think they tried making something up, and he kicked on the third play just because they were just lacking a few ideas there. So I said, just back to the structures, back to what they've planned for the attack, how we've seen them attack this year. Go back to some of that. Let's see some of that.
Maybe an understandable impatience, John, as well, when you're under the pump defensively. A lot has been thrown at you, as Toulouse did.
Yep.
When you do get up the other end of the field, sometimes it's very, very hard to stick to what you had as a game plan.
And that's not going to, by definition, that's not going to get easier as time goes on, is it? That pressure is going to increase. The one chink of light I think for Featherstone is, I think Toulouse have been inviting them. They've been offering them again and again and again. Right, come on, have a crack at us, have a crack at us. The defence has been good enough because the attack has been too poor. Featherstone fix that up, this could be a really interesting second half.
No matter what happens, we will have a special moment at the end of this game, because we will welcome either Toulouse Olympique or Featherstone Rovers into Super League for 2022. 40 more minutes remain of this season on Sky Sports. Let's go back to Phil Clark, Barry McDermott and Stuart Pike.
Thank you, Brian. 5 years ago, the journey started in earnest for Toulouse Olympique. They're now 40 minutes away from history and a place in Super League. That's when Sylvain Houlez was appointed full-time coach. He and Mark Corella and Jonathan Ford got together to plot a route through to Super League. And is 2021 going to be the year they achieve their dream and join Catalan and have two French sides in Super League in 2022. Featherstone have it all to do, and as Danny Ward has just been saying, it's all about their attack. They've got to get something going. As Mick Garbett takes the first run of the second half, and James Webster now will have told his troops what he expects. Charge out from Sangare. And let's see if Featherstone can come back in this £1 million game.
They maybe have to transport their minds back to that great day they had at Wembley when they defeated York. I know the personnel are different. They have to rediscover that, put themselves in that changing room at Wembley and how good it felt lifting that trophy and celebrating that success. They've got to find it, Stu.
Yeah. The 1895 Cup at Wembley, 41-34 in a thriller. They beat York back in July. Pelissier in there and Ford in there, Bretherton in there with the tackle. Are we in agreement that Featherstone has to score first in this second half?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and they're attempting to do that, you know, with some better ball movement, which I guess is what James Webster he intended at the start of the game. They then got starved of possession, trapped in a few corners. But here now, I think they're going to play with some more width.
I am surprised they haven't introduced Dean Parata until he's not even on the field. He's a player, a dynamic player around that dummy half. They've got big players in the middle, Toulouse, and he can cause some problems. I'm sure it won't be long before we see him.
Connor Jones it is for now. Brown with the kick. Corella with the take, does well there. Mark Corella. Say the record was held by Sebastian Planas. The record appearances for Toulouse broken today, and I suppose how fitting it would be that this is the day that Mark Corella finally realises his dream to play in Super League with the team and the city that have become his home for the last 10 years. Sangare with the run, Pelissier, here is Mitch Garbett now.
It's a better start to the second half for Featherstone, though. They've competed and they've got themselves here now with the pressure on Tony Guijo's kick.
And here is Walker. Surrender! Prolific at London. Never quite happened for him, did it, at Wakefield?
No, not quite. I mean, it's a very talented player, but I think for Featherstone now, the message has got to be foot to the floor here now. They've got to give it everything they can. As you say, if the Toulouse side score next, they've little or no chance of winning. But with 6 points on the scoreboard, possession back again, we very often see rugby league teams go back-to-back with points. And now they're going wide against this left side.
And they've got to give it a real go, and it's Wellham. It's just so in there with the tackle.
Go, push up with him.
A charge from Craig Hall. Wellham again on the last. And it is Brown who fires it towards the corner. The offload there, little kick through towards the line, and it's pounced on. I think it was
touched the line with his foot, I think, didn't he?
Well, if ever you're going to get excited as a Featherstone fan, it's right now, because this is your chance to get some points, to get back in this game and have a dream of winning this £1 million match. Great kick to the corner, and then the toe, I think it is from Junior Vaivai there.
It was Vaivai, yes, you're right.
Right foot hit the line. Hardcastle's thumb was up to his teammates. This is it. This has to be the chance now in this 6 tackles that they're given with this goal line dropout.
Well, certainly the intensity is there, isn't it? Well, that's a short one. They gambled, didn't they? Oh, it's a knock-on, is it, by Holton? Well, the gamble paid off for Toulouse. And a bit of afters from the Toulouse, celebrating the error there from Frankie Holton. It was the chance, but as soon as the chance had come, it's gone.
What a desperate shame. And going in at half-time, we talked about how clunky they were, how they didn't threat when they were in good field position. And you can excuse that with fatigue. They did a lot of defending in the first half. They've recharged those batteries. They start afresh in the second, and they started the first 4 minutes on the front foot, and just a mistake has handed possession over to Toulouse. But when Toulouse have tried to get some momentum, Featherstone Rovers have got up quick and took that time and space away.
Well, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, we know how prolific on the points column Featherstone have been, as have Toulouse, but the most important thing that Sylvain Houlez said in the week, 14 games and only 136 points conceded. Their defence has been outstanding.
They're trying to ruffle some feathers, the Featherstone Rovers now. They're flying out. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, a lot of verbals.
Here is Peyroux. Play on, says the referee. And it comes to this right-hand side. There's a chance now with Jasson. Jasson kicks the ball through. Who's going to win the race? Can Ford get there? No, he can't. Well, that really would have been game, set and match, but somehow Featherstone survived. I think it came off. It may well have been Hardcastle, but
I thought it was Jack Bussey, but I may be wrong here. Jasson puts a brilliant kick on the inside, looking for Jonathan Ford. But Featherstone player, I think it's a forward, just gets back and knocks the ball out of play. Jack Bussey to the rescue. Now then, will Featherstone go short with this goal line dropout? Toulouse did at the other end of the field just 2 minutes ago. Tony Guijo got the ball back for his side with an error. But no, Craig Hall's hit it as far as he can.
It's a good kick as well.
It's not if you need possession, though, is it? It's not if you need possession, Stuart.
Sangare with the charge. Jones up there with Bussey to meet him.
I like
halfway.
him. I like him.
Yep. You mentioned the first half. If Toulouse do go out, he will be one to watch next year for sure.
He's a big unit.
Yep. Here's Ford now. Little short pass, cracking tackle there by
Gale. It is.
It was Gareth Gale.
You can't afford to give Junior Vaivai any build-up to gain that momentum. He's a powerful runner at the best of times.
Well, we saw that, didn't we? 2 tries in the semi-final against Batley last weekend. Here is Paolo. Paolo to Sangare. That was a really good tackle Had to be from Bet Ferris. He didn't like that, did he? From Pelissier, he was getting ready. Little kick towards the corner, across it goes, brilliantly taken by Hall.
What a piece of skill though there. There's so much deception in the kick as well. It looked as though he was going to kick the ball back to the goalpost off the right outside of his boot.
Chisholm.
There's definitely a change in attitude from Featherstone. They're forcing that offload, they're finding a pass and asking some serious questions of Toulouse.
Seven minutes gone in the second half. Much, much better from Featherstone. Frankie Holton, Ireland international, ex-Swinton, of course. Davis, good tackle from Jonathan Ford on the big man, John Davis. Up goes the kick towards Corella. Very safe under the high ball, isn't he?
He hasn't had his feathers ruffled, even though there's lots of stuff going on, particularly between the forwards. You can see a real concerted effort by the big men in the middle for Featherstone. Let's get stuck in and let's try and upset somebody here, put them off the pattern.
What's the referee saying here?
Well, the doctor's on the field, so he's been advised, I think, by a touch judge to stop the game.
It was Shumkel who was going through.
I think it's a Featherstone player. It's Dale Ferguson, yeah. He's telling the physio he's okay. Understandably, they'll just give him a moment. Maybe bring him off and assess him properly. Dale Ferguson really put himself about, hasn't it? John Davis and Dale Ferguson.
They won't take any chances.
No. He missed the semi-final last week, Dale Ferguson. Maybe wanting to make up and justify his selection, justify the faith that James Webster's shown in him.
8 minutes gone, second half. Toulouse still leading by 16 points to nil as they were at half-time. Featherstone, you may remember, lost the £1 million game in 2019. They beat Lee, York, and then Toulouse in the semis before losing in Toronto. The high kick from Gigo, Alex Walker, really good take under immense pressure.
A more confident take. He was a bit uncertain in the first half. High balls, they're difficult to deal with, but with bodies running out and you feeling the presence of those defenders in front of you. It's a quality take and gets the set off to a good start for Fev.
We mentioned before in the first half, didn't we? We've got Toulouse full-time against Featherstone, who are part-time.
And it does make a difference, and I felt that difference
as it goes on.
I felt that in the first half. Featherstone fatigued. They didn't have a lot of possession, and when they did get possession, they were that tired. They weren't as slick as they could have been. And they're kicking from deep.
Chisholm it was. Here is Jai Hitchcox. Not seen too much of the ball this afternoon, the flying winger.
All the way, Frankie. Hold it, mate. Hold, go on. He's good.
It's a good carry.
You just feel, even though Featherstone have started this second half far better than they started the match, that Toulouse still have control of this game.
And look where it is, around the back of the play the ball there. When Jonathan Ford is going behind the back of the play the ball, you know it's a soft ruck.
Play on. Here's Pelissier. It's like a little gesture, isn't he?
Should have been 6 more tackles. The referee didn't have it.
Corella. That's one. Yeah. Toulouse were asking for 6 more. Gigo it is with a little kick through. Too much on it. Lou Brown actually went, I think, to try and get the ball behind, but thankfully for Featherstone, didn't touch it. 16-0. Toulouse a half hour away from Super League.
Featherstone not prepared at this point to give up the ghost, are they? Good urgency on that tap.
Nothing's changed. They still have to get the next try.
Brilliantly balanced, isn't it? Featherstone giving everything they can, and Toulouse realising the importance of every tackle they make here now takes them one step further to the long-term goal of promotion into the Betfred Super League. It's on a knife edge. And 6 points, you're trying a goal here for the Featherstone side, and it really would change. I think they come to life. He's got to find the first try. Hardcastle slipped here.
Yeah, he may have hurt himself. I think he slipped into the legs there of Jonathan Ford. Well, there's a man of passion, Remy Castille.
You can see as he takes this ball, he slips. And there is some kind of contact.
Just fell into Ford's leg, didn't he?
I don't even know whether he catches the arm or the forearm, but those are those incidents where I think if the attacking player slips and falls and there's incidental contact, that's different than contact with the head.
Josh Hardcastle, born and bred in Featherstone, played for the famous Featherstone Lions. So many go through the system and end up at Post Office Road.
There's too much depth on that.
Corella does make the mistake. Well, that is the first error.
He's offside, Jonathan Ford, too.
Yep, he was. So is this the moment? Is this the chance? Is this Featherstone getting back into the £1 million game?
Well, we thought that on a goal line dropout about 5 or 6 minutes ago, but this does have to be that moment now. They have to seize the day and see some points.
Bussey, who's been, you have to say, he's been superb, hasn't he, since he's come on. Jack Bussey. Connor Jones getting closer to that try line. Chisholm it is, and nowhere for John Davis to go. Here is Craig Kopchak. Vastly experienced. That's a good ball from Chisholm for Ferris, and Ferris finds a way through. And it is the moment, and Featherstone are back in the £1 million game. They had to score first in the second half. They had scored first. It's 16-4.
Well, Brett Ferris doing what he's done all his career. A good line, a strong, hard line going back against the grain. Whilst there's action out the back from the fullback, Alex Walker just distracts all the defenders. And when Brett Ferris is one-on-one against any defender, he'd back himself. Featherstone Rovers would back him. And now we've got a ball game, haven't we? Good decision from Jane Chisholm.
Yeah, brilliant pass from Chisholm. Craig Hall with another goal and a prolific season of point scoring. And it is 16-6, and it is game on in the £1 million game.
Well, had it gone to a video referee, I'm not so sure that try would have been awarded. Sylvain Hules may have said that Justin Sangaré is obstructed here. You watch John Davis stands directly in front of him at that point, but it's irrelevant now. There's 6 more points on the scoreboard, and they've started to smile.
Well, it all came from the rare mistake from that man, Mark Corella.
And it's the first mistake he's made on one of the few that Toulouse have made. James Webster talked about putting them in uncomfortable positions. I'm not suggesting that scoreline is uncomfortable, but the last couple of minutes, they need to eradicate that from their memory, get back to doing what they do best, and I wouldn't be surprised if Toulouse make a change and they bring the starting front row as Castille and Harrison Hansen back on.
7 tries in the last 6 games now for Brett Ferris, none more so important than that one. Here is Jack Bussey. Bit more confidence, bit more belief, bit more of a swagger about Featherstone Rovers. Chisholm it is with the long ball out to, well, and now here is Hall. Little chip over the top there from Craig Hall. Brilliant save, just can't stay in play. And they are giving it a go. They're giving it everything. Doesn't come off on this occasion, but there's no doubt Toulouse are rattled.
That's great rugby from both sides, isn't it? Both in attack and defence, chip and chase. And Tony Guigeaud's covering tackle takes him over the sideline. We've seen this several times in the 55 minutes so far. Featherstone liking to pass the ball wide to this left-hand side. They've had some joy, but not scored enough points from it yet.
It's brilliant skill, isn't it, from Craig Hall, brother-in-law of one of the best Mavericks I've ever seen, Lee Breers. That's a Lee Breers kick, chip and chase, if ever I've seen it. But Craig Hall, well, he's just as good at them. Players like that need a goldfish memory. They need to register it and forget about it 3 seconds later.
Do anything for a mentioned Lee Breers.
Well, you've given him another one now.
16-6. Thrilling. 15 minutes gone in the second half. Pellissier. Paolo. Remy Cassidy is back on. The experience of Cassidy. Jonathan Ford now. Quick play the ball. This is how they go. Back it goes to Ford now. And Paolo. And Cassidy. The offload again to Pellissier. Long pass out now for Jasome. He's got outside in Shunkel. Back inside for Jasome on the last. What a performance, what a play. In the end, brave and desperate defence. Featherstone hang on. This is some game now.
Both teams pushing themselves to the limit here. Jasome was dangerous, but the Featherstone players are not prepared to go this far for this long in a season without providing the most formidable resistance here. They've got 90 metres to go and they know they need some points, but they cannot afford to concede again.
That's it, Ali. Hold me, hold. Three, lead the ball, Mitch.
Well, you've got your wish. Dean Parata is on the field, Phil. He will make a difference. Electric from dummy half.
It was me, Stu. Come on, pay attention.
40-20 attempt. Has he hit it well enough? I think he has.
Oh,
yes, what a kick!
Amazing. And the whole complexion of this £1 million game has changed in an instant. Dane Chisholm with a monster kick. Well, this now is turning into a thriller. Chisholm. Numbers outside. Hall! Can he scramble over? Has he got the ball down? He's held up over the line. Wow, what a fantastic tackle it was, and it was that man, Gigot, who saved the day for Toulouse. Hitchcock involved as well. Hall thought he'd scored.
God, there's some desperation on show now. Hitchcock's clinging on to Craig Hall, clinging on to the ball. And Tony Gigot, I think there's a bit of gamesmanship. He's taking the time and giving and gifting his side a bit of think time.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, John Davis has lost the ball on the first play.
It was Davis. Corella comes away with it. Oh, what an opportunity that was for Featherstone Rovers. But it's another chance that they have made. It's another chance that they haven't been able to take. Coming up for the hour mark. The nerves are starting to be shredded.
Well, they haven't looked like scoring Toulouse for a long time here. It's almost as if they're in a situation where they want to defend this 10-point advantage. Jonathan Ford, with his experience, and Mark Corella, I think need to get their hands on the ball a bit more here and need to find some points. They can't rest assured here that this will be enough.
Joseph Paolo, former Saint, signed at the start of the year along with Dom Peyrou. Gigot with the kick. Oh, Hardcastle! Now has he got the legs to break away? Hardcastle
brilliant
didn't quite
by
have the
Bredetton.
support there from Gale.
Brilliant by Joe Bredetton. He's actually played and filled in the outside backs in his time. Good pace by a big man.
Leave it!
Garvin it was with the tackle on Walker. Dean Parata. Here in Chisholm. Does well. Great kicking run from Dane Chisholm, and Jonathan Ford who grapples him to the ground. A crucial tackle. Quick play the ball again.
Well, the longer the game goes, the more the part-timers look like they're more likely to win.
Yeah. There's an anxiety in Toulouse ranks.
Yeah, without a doubt. The crowd trying to get behind the hometown hero. Chisholm puts the kick up. This time it is taken by Mark Carella. Oh, he's lost the ball. Comes out to Ferris. As Ferris has scored. Is that going to be a try from Brett Ferris? Is that his second try? Incredible. As Carella lost it, the referee, Robin Hicks, is saying no try. It's down to Chris Kendall to make one of the biggest calls of the year.
Let's just see how the ball comes out. Pressure. It's building on the home side. Carella takes the kick and catch. He secures possession. Is it Alex Walker? They're looking whether everybody's onside. They look like they're onside to me. The only question might be against Craig Hall, but for me he's onside. Carella catches the ball. Alex Walker is in the vicinity, and it's stripped by Craig Hall. We're going to have another look at this. I'm not committing either way. The referee sent it up as a no try. Carella has possession. It's a strip by Craig Hall. The question is Alex Walker in contact with the fullback?
Or did Wellham actually knock on? Was there a double touch there from Chris
I think
Wellham?
the question is, does it go forward to Chris Wellham? That's what the referee wants to know. And I think on that angle, Chris Wellham is probably forward.
It was. That was the error from Chris Wellham. It was the right decision from Robert Hicks. It was the right decision from Chris Kendall. But they're getting closer. There's 20 minutes to go. And Featherstone are right bang back in this match.
Well, during the battling match last week, Toulouse played and started the game how they played the previous games on 13 occasions, out and out attack. And I get the feeling they've tried to adjust that. And I agree with Phil, it's almost like they're defending this lead. Danny Ward, our studio guest, said before the match, they're not typically high-scoring matches when it comes down to this time of the year. The £1 million game is notorious for being a low-scoring affair. I'm not sure this scoreboard is enough for any team.
I think Toulouse are on the back foot. Going to need one magic moment, you feel, from Toulouse. Another try and they will feel that they've done it. Featherstone at the moment still very much in this with plenty of time on the clock. Walker. Crowd of just over 9,000 at the Stade Ernest Ballon, and they reckon if they go to Super League they'll be filling that stadium on several occasions next year.
Well, this is a worrying timing, you know, for Sylvain Houlez. His team look like they're stuck in reverse when the opposition have possession. They just need to find some support here now. Passes and support. Dean Parata looking, scans right and left.
Awkward it is with the run. Ferguson's back on. There's the run from
Jack Bussey.
Yeah, it was. And Bussey brought down. New Brown and Chisholm. Chisholm will chip towards the corner and taken well by his best friend, Jai Hitchcock.
He's an instinctive player, Dane Chisholm, and he can make things happen. Had the ball in his hand, and the task for everybody in the Featherstone Rovers shirts is to try and guess what he's going to do with the ball. He hadn't made his mind up what he was going to do with that kick until he assessed what was in front of him. End up being a poor kick, easily dealt with by Toulouse.
Josh Hardcastle, Dane Chisholm, John Davis, Connor Jones, Jack Bussey, James Lockwood all suffered heartbreaking disappointment playing in the £1 million game in Toronto a couple of years ago. And now I think it's Ferris who's given away the penalty.
It's a huge call on the last tackle. Don Peru on the floor. The referee has stopped the clock. Every second counts now at this stage in this match.
Don Peru That Kopchak.
Yeah.
Did you two song that?
Yeah, goes behind the ruck again. Kopchak loses contact. He goes back into contact while the player is on the floor and then gives him an extra push after he's played it.
Go on then, Tony.
That was an awful penalty to give away. At an awful time in the game. Dom Peyrou is okay. No doubt he will have been cheering the Saints on in the grand final 24 hours ago, having won 2 already with Saints. Here is Jassou. Oh, does well.
Good
really
footwork.
Well. Ferris hauling him down somehow.
Line, hold here, hold for the football, go on.
Oh, they go the short side again. Peyrou it is.
Goal line.
Right
on your
on
line.
the goal line.
Go two.
Quick play the ball as quick as they could from Pellissier.
Play on, 3. Move, Dean.
They've got to keep them out to stay in the game, Featherstone Rovers. 17 minutes to go in the £1 million game. Gigo for Castney. Can Castney complete the fairy tale? Pellissier ducks under one challenge. Pellissier gets the ball to Jassou! Could that be it? Magnifique! Olympique! Toulouse score a big try. It's a second for Mathieu Jassou. And is it the try that takes Toulouse into the big time, into Super League?
Well, they've just taken a deposit for $500,000 with this try. The whole lot's not gone in. But I think as Mathieu Jassou goes over here, he's shown great strength. He's shown great footwork. And here he's eased the nerves and anxiety of all of the fans that are supporting this Toulouse Olympique team. We've been desperate for years to see their side reach the summit of this Super League. The pinnacle of rugby league in this country, the Northern Hemisphere. And I think his teammates realise just how important that try is. 15 minutes to go in the match.
It just settles the nerves, doesn't it? Even though it was scored in Toulouse. It was born out of Catalan Dragons. Remy cast it, hands it on to Eloi Pellissier, who puts Jassou in. He's been very impressive. Balanced player with good pace and evasion.
But it all came from the mistake. The penalty given away by Craig Kopchak. And 3 minutes after they thought that they may have got a try through Brett Ferris to get back into it, they conceded a crucial score. And Corella from the touchline adds to the agony, and it's 22 points to 6. Disappointment for the hundreds of Featherstone fans who've travelled.
Well, it might be a little playlist by the impressive centre, Jassou. And you can feel it, can't you? The atmosphere's just starting to build. They believe that this is a good part of the game for them. 22-6 on the scoreboard. The band is getting louder, and the crowd, well, are they going to chant and cheer their side home to victory?
Cedric Garcia, their chief executive, said in the week that this has been 20 years in the making. They're 13 minutes away from making history. The possibilities are endless. We are ready on every level. Here is Dean Parata.
6 again for Featherstone Rovers, a good opportunity for them.
The clock is against them. The scoreboard is against them. Parata again. New Brown. Good play from Bussey. Really has. A terrific game. Jack Bussey. Parata. Ferguson straightens up. Goes for the line, looks for the offload. Castney and Corella combining to bring him down. But here's Davis on the charge.
To try.
And it's okay. It is okay. The veteran John Davis, 6 years at Featherstone Rovers, and they won't stop believing. It's 22 points to 10.
Well, he gives Featherstone Rovers the slimmest of chances. He gets down low and hard. It's Dale Ferguson with the first carry. His urgency to play the ball leaves a retreating defender. A space, a hole, a lack of communication on goal line D is a recipe for danger.
No mistake from Craig Hall, but as soon as Toulouse think that they may well have done enough, back come Featherstone Rovers. It's intriguing again at 22-12.
Speed and simplicity have given them the 6 points they need here. It's given them some hope. The fans have got excited again. And we're going to have a dramatic last 12 minutes in which they probably need 12 points, don't they?
Looks like Steve-O, that. Like Steve-O Stevenson in Toulouse.
Only once this season that Toulouse conceded more than 20 points. Only once. And that was in their 44-34 win at Halifax back in April. What can Featherstone Rovers do with a little over 10 minutes to go? It's a 10-point ball game once more. Feel the tension, can't you?
Oh! A basic mistake from one of the most experienced players on the pitch, and his teammates gather around him. James Lockwood, who's trying to play that ball quick, trying to do the same as Dale Ferguson for that last try. And you can see the home side in no desperate hurry, but James Lockwood,
I thought you dropped it, mate, to be honest. I'll make you move it right.
a determined character, will want to make up.
Go on then, Remy.
10 minutes or so to go. In the Stade Ernest Vallon. Harrison, Hansen, and then Marion. Anthony Marion. Real Toulouse trooper he's been down the years. Here is Remy Casti. His last ever game. Well, he finally hangs up the boots. Is it going to be a triumphant exit? Gigot. Dom Peyrou. Well, offside, and
Yeah.
I think they, without a shadow of a doubt,
They'll
they'll
go for the two. Yeah. They were setting up for the drop goal. You could see, I think it was Tony Gigot that was out the back. It's a wide angle for us to try and judge, but they were setting up for the 1 point.
Yeah, as soon as the whistle went for offside, Coach McDermott held up his fingers.
And I'm just watching all the players do the same thing. Big games, take the two. Just keep nudging that scoreboard. Take the energy, take that hope away from Featherstone, if nothing else.
You can't fault Featherstone's effort in the second half.
No, they've had the most difficult task. They've got jobs, and something James Webster said before the start of the game, I haven't trained the side any different. We haven't done any extra sessions because my players have got jobs. He probably couldn't get hold of them for any more time. But Sylvain Houles, he's had the luxury of spending time with his players, learning lessons from that Batley game last week. And it's a tense, nervous atmosphere.
What's significant as well, as Corella puts over another penalty. That's four penalties that Corella has taken close to the post, given away by Featherstone. That's 8 points.
6 from 7 off the boot of Corella. He's had a big influential game, as he does most times when we've watched him here on Sky Sports. But he's been ably assisted by a lot of players in the Toulouse ranks. Good team performance from them.
Had a couple of errors along the way, hasn't he?
Hey, this isn't over. 9 minutes, 12 points. We've got a potential for golden point if the Rovers can find one try. I'd back them to find a second.
There's Parata again.
Well, James Webster will know all about that scoreline and that Salford-Hull-KR game. I've seen many expressions in my time in rugby league, but I've never felt or seen more disappointment than I saw on that day on the face of James Webster.
Ferguson. Parata at dummy half. They go to the right. Cuts inside. Lou Brown, I think it was. Parata again. Chisholm with a little kick forward, and well picked up by Mark Corella. Now he has got pace, Corella, and he's still going, Corella. He's got support here from Hitchcock. Can't quite get away. Desperate scrambling defence from Featherstone. It was Parata who caught up there with Jai Hitchcock. They're looking to strike now. Bretherton on that left-hand side.
Oh, it's breathtaking transition, isn't it? Corella picks up the ball, finds his winger, and then they try and slow the game down, don't they? They know that they can get in this field position, bank what they've got here at this end of the field, and watch Featherstone toil and tussle the way down to the other end.
Gigot. Harrison Hansen. The experience is all on the field now for Toulouse, isn't it? Hansen and Casti.
Yeah, you good, James.
Here is Ford now.
Hey, and it's no coincidence either. The two bookends have come back on, the 8 and 10, and they've steadied the ship right down, and the dominance that Featherstone were having in the middle has gone.
Ford with the pass, and that will do it. And it's Harrison Hansen, the veteran, who's won grand finals, he's won Challenge Cups, and he might just have won the £1 million game for Toulouse Olympique. It was Ford the architect, and Hansen is the man. And Toulouse now are surely heading for the big time.
You're right, Stuart. You know, the fourth biggest city in France will play host to Super League games next season as Harrison Hansen goes over and confirms with the 28-12 lead here and just several minutes remaining that they will win this £1 million match. Deservedly so. There was a tension during this second half when it did look as though they might be run down, but they've managed to steady the ship and they've done enough. The Featherstone coaching team probably resigned now to the fact that they've given everything they could, but it won't be enough now to win.
Harrison Hansen lost the £1 million game in 2017, playing for Lee against Catalan. He's going to win one today, and there is Sylvain Houlage, who's done a huge sigh of relief from the man who has guided Toulouse from League One to the summit of the championship, to the £1 million game, and on to Super League. Barry will be picking the player of the match. We'll let him have a think about that in the next minute or two, as Mark Corella adds 2 more points. 30 points to 12. The most important game in the club's history. The destiny of Toulouse Olympique. The day of reckoning. And it's all about to come good.
What a day it's been for Toulouse Olympique. Featherstone Rovers go short with this kickoff. But it's been the experienced players who've stepped forward, showed that maturity, understanding what it takes to win at that level. Joe Bretherton's had a good game as well, hasn't he?
Two French sides in Super League in 2022.
Well, it's a city, isn't it, Toulouse, with a rugby tradition. If I'm right, I don't think there's a Premier football team in that part of France. League and Union strong in there. They've got lots of French players developing.
And they very much have a joint approach. If you listen to how they go about their business, they work in tandem and they view it as just rugby. You can decide which one you want to play, which one suits you best.
And they have a great relationship, and they do work together. There's Remy Casting, 30 points for Toulouse, the highest score in a £1 million game. That's going to mean a million dreams for the city of Toulouse.
I thought he was going to say a million love songs then. I thought he was going to give us a quick rendition. It's a forward pass from Toulouse. Well, Featherstone will have at least another goal with the ball. We saw a lovely shot of their fans. Hundreds of them have travelled over at very short notice. There are hundreds of them watching on a big screen at Post Office Road, and far more sat at home cheering their side on. They've done Featherstone proud, just not quite been good enough on the day.
Barry, your player of the match of the £1 million game.
I think there's been some remarkable performances, and I think some of the more mature players have really stood up front. Remy Casti and Harrison Hansen, when they came back on, they settled the ship. But the most impressive player...
Oh, hang on a sec, Hall gets the ball down. They've lost the ball, I think. It was brilliant defence. Hall with the back. Look at that, look what it means to them. The game is won, but it still means that much. And it was Hitchcock.
Well, right on cue, the most impressive player is the big number 4 in your screen there, Mathieu Gesson, scorer of 2 tries. A really exciting, talented player. Can't wait to see him on the biggest stage, on the Super League stage. And celebrations all round from everybody, young and old.
Lloyd! There's a yellow card.
In the bin.
Who's going in the bin?
Penalty.
Kicking out.
Lloyd White.
Is it Lloyd White?
Kick out, mate. Kick out.
Well, it is. Just put a little dampener on things. Featherstone will have a penalty, and Lloyd White.
Well, we heard the referee. We heard the referee talking to the players and saying there's a bit of winding up going on. I don't want to see any pushing and shoving. I think that might be Lloyd White going to the sin bin because of a culmination of things. But Featherstone Rovers, well, they may well get the last say in this game.
Lockwood. Big disappointment for James Lockwood. And he's knocked it on after 10 years with Featherstone Rovers. There's the celebrations, there's the joy, there's the emotion. The clock is ticking down, and the celebrations will really start for Toulouse Olympique.
I think everybody's ready for the bell to ring now. This fight's over. The winners are in white, and they can start to prepare for what would it be now, about 4 months' time before the start of Super League in 2022. We had Toronto a couple of years ago. The new entrants will be Toulouse. And just how well will they go?
Well, it has been a history-making day in Toulouse. We will have 2 French sides in Super League. We will have a mouth-watering prospect of a Toulouse-Catalan derby.
Hey, and never mind the Toulouse-Catalan derby. What about all the Super League fans going over to Toulouse? It's a beautiful place. Lovely coffee shops and restaurants and lots of culture.
Will you be my guide?
No. No, you're on your own, Pikey. You're on your own. But just a wonderful part of the world. And again, it just widens the footprint that we've got of this great game of ours.
Spot on. Shigo it was with the kick downfield. Featherstone have given it absolutely everything, but 16-0 down in 24 minutes. And that really sowed the seeds. The job is almost done. There's the offload. But it won't matter. It won't matter. Sylvain Hules and Toulouse can celebrate the greatest day in their history, and another momentous day for French Rugby League. Toulouse Olympique will become the 24th team in Super League history.
Just look at those
scenes. We've got 1 more play to go from the penalty, but the celebration's well underway at the Stade Ernest Ballon.
Brilliant scenes, aren't they? Celebrations. We saw Romain Navarrete on the sideline celebrating. A raft of players.
Well, was that Ferris on Casti? Remy Casti will retire a winner, having helped Toulouse into Super League. That was played out straight into the arms of Jonathan Ford. There might be another one here. Ford jinking his way through. How fitting it is that Jonathan Ford, Monsieur Toulouse, gets the try to round it all off. 11 years at the club. He has been a big part of this success story, and Jonathan Ford tops it all off with a stunning solo try. Let the celebrations begin.
Well, it was the reaction of the Toulouse players against a tired defence. Dean Parata sticks a foot out. It rebounds to Toulouse. And with a dead-set killer near that try line in Jonathan Ford, there's only one outcome there with the ball in his hand. It's going to be a try. He's going to lay it on for a teammate, or he's going to score it himself. Big celebrations now.
Jubilant scenes.
Well, I don't know whether Jonathan Ford's been the main architect, but he's certainly been one of the key builders of this team. The team that's taken them, it's taken its time. They've worked very hard over, as you've said now, a 20-year period. Many people behind the scenes. Some are still there, some have moved on. But they've built strong foundations, and they're hoping they're strong enough now to sustain more than one season in the Super League.
I will be very disappointed if Remy Castille does not step forward to take this kick.
Yeah.
Come on, big fella.
Are they going to take the kick?
Give him his chance, come on.
Well, this would be, I remember one of the greatest kicks of all time. Is it Paul Anderson off the touchline for St Helens?
All cards on the table here now. I remember taking a kick against Toulouse.
Under the bar.
Well, it's a goal, but it's not a conversion. And that is it. There's the man of the match, Matteo Jasson. And Dominic Peyroux, who's won Super League crowns, has now won £1 million game. And it is true. It is the dream. And it is history for Toulouse Olympique. The 24th team in Super League history. They win the £6 million game by 34 points to 12, and the celebrations will begin. A process that started 2 decades ago, and is it a game changer for Super League in the Northern Hemisphere? Toulouse have done it. Featherstone gave it absolutely everything. But in the end, it's Toulouse Olympique who make history. Toulouse will play in Super League in 2022.
Well, they're ecstatic after winning that game. They'll be happier, Stuart, when you heard they've awarded them an extra £5 million. Well, what scenes here. 84 years after the Toulouse club was founded, they sit now amongst the Northern Hemisphere's top Super League, top rugby league clubs. Danny Ward, our guest here in studio, you know how this feels. You know how it can change the course of the history of a club.
It's fantastic to see, just seeing how they're celebrating there. It's unbelievable. Some people who've been there involved with that club for a number of years now, players, coaching staff. You're so pleased for them. It's thoroughly deserved. You know, they've been out and out the best team in the comp all year, and they're going to be in a good addition to Super League.
Have we got a story in Super League in 2022 with Toulouse Olympique and now the Catalan Dragons alongside them?
I'll tell you what, the travel as well. We have to get our passports renewed. Can't wait. It's 2 trips to the south of France a season. What a fairy tale ending to the 2021 season. Quite a few of the romantics were behind the Catalan Dragons last night, and that's a story in and of itself, isn't it? You know, their rise, their one unidirectional rate of travel, and then, well, Toulouse Olympique have mirrored and, if not bettered that in some respects, to go all the way from League One as their reintroduction back in 2016, and Sylvain Houlez, the man at the helm, has taken them right to the very top, and they stand this evening as the new entrants to Super League and the 3rd French club to take part in Super League, if you count Paris Saint-Germain right back at the start of Super League. It's a fantastic story.
You just get the feeling with the Catalan Dragons, quite obviously, and Toulouse, there's a history, and there's rugby league running throughout the veins of people that follow the sport down there. Paris was parachuted in at the very start. It didn't work out. You get a feeling there's more sustainability with the likes of the Catalan Dragons and Toulouse.
They love the rugby league down there. There's a lot of people playing the game, and they're passionate about it. I mean, you look at the amount of fans who've turned up today, and the noise that they've created. There is a buzz. It's a fantastic city, is Toulouse. You've been a number of times now, and there is that buzz there when they are playing at home, and they create some atmosphere down there. It's awesome.
A word on Featherstone Rovers. I mean, no disgrace in going down to a side that have remained unbeaten throughout the season 2021, who've had to travel. I mean, people will criticise Toulouse at times for the lack of games they have played. They've played all their games away, bar the semi-final and the final. They've won them all away, so they've done it tough. Going down to the side of that quality is no disgrace.
Not at all. Just deal with Toulouse very, very quickly, because playing all their games away, I mean, that's no mean feat either. We've seen that the troubles that travel have posed for the Catalan Dragons this year. That takes some doing, and then to come home at the biggest of stages when the pressure's really on to come back home. But yes, to answer your question,
just on that, it takes some doing. It takes some money. €500,000 they've spent on chartered flights, clocking up 40,000 air miles, or kilometres, I should say.
On balance, it was the £500,000 game for them.
They've spent a lot getting there.
But Featherstone, it was a gallant effort, I thought, and they posed an awful lot of questions, more questions than Toulouse have faced, I think, all season. And you know, there's some really good performances in defeat there for them. They go again. That team's not going to get disbanded, and they've got a really good support base, a real partisan support base, as we all found out last week. And I expect to see them fighting at the very top of the championship next year as well.
Yep, we get to see Toulouse, Olympique and their superstars in the Betfred Super League in 2022. No doubt amongst them will be player of the match, I should say, in this £1 million game, Mathieu Josam. We can hear from him now.
Mathieu Josam, how does that feel?
I feel very good, very good.
Your moustache is curling in the corners. A very special night for French Rugby League.
Yeah, sorry, I don't understand.
I know. Sorry. You're the Betfred man of the match.
Yeah.
And it's been a fantastic night for French Rugby League. Are you going to party tonight?
Yeah, sure.
You get
for the week, on the weekend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your award tonight. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you.
Remy, you were there at the very, very start for Catalan Dragons in Super League. You're now there at the very start for Toulouse in Super League. How does that feel?
It's awesome. It's awesome for the club, you know, the fight since 10 years to go up in Super League, you know. They tried to be promoted in 2005 like Catalan, but Catalan won. And they kept going to fight, kept going to build it, and now we achieved that. And for the club, and also for French Rugby League, is awesome.
It's been a fantastic weekend for French Rugby League. Although Catalans lost yesterday, your heart is with Catalans and Toulouse French Rugby League. How did you feel about the whole weekend?
It's amazing for French Rugby League, you know, and shame. I'm very disappointed for Catalans. They lost the grand final. They are very close to win, and that's so French Rugby League is growing up, you know. And we have to keep working hard and to show in 1 year there is a World Cup. France has to be good.
You played very strongly tonight, Remy. You're not tempted to do one more year, maybe?
It's over. So it was the last dance, and what a day for this. And I'm very happy in front of my family, friends, and also a good crowd.
Go and enjoy it, Remy. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
What a guy, man. Sylvain, you've been a player for this club and a coach for this club, and you're the first guy who took a French team qualifying up to the Super League. How does that feel?
I'm lost for words. It's unbelievable, you know. Like, when I see the ground, the stadium, you know, like that, and how they push us, you know, they push the boys there all the way. Unreal. It's magnificent, you know. Who would have thought that, you know, like a few years ago we would have the packed ground like that in the grand final, you know, and to get us promoted in Super League. Unbelievable.
You were tested all the way with Featherstone today. Good side, always going to play strongly, but you had just enough at the end.
Yeah, you know, like the second half, the beginning of the second half, we were a little bit like average, you know, and we let them come back where the boys really, really dig deep, you know, and we managed to get some points. No, it's unbelievable. What a game, what a game.
You've worked very hard for this, Sylvain. What's the plan tonight? Might be a party or two?
Yeah, just enjoy the boys, you know. I'm gonna, you know, I love them. They've been outstanding all through the season. They stick at it, you know. We had a project, and you know, I can't credit them enough, you know. And all the guys who played, but the guys who didn't play, you know, it's tough for them, but they support everyone. And no, we planned everything, and he walks, and you know, when he walks, it's unbelievable.
Félicitations.
Merci beaucoup.
You enjoyed tonight.
Thank you very much.
Featherstone coach James Webster, you're here with your sons Tom and Ben. How does it feel you've pushed them all the way tonight? You must be very proud.
I'm ultra proud of my team. I thought they were really courageous in lots of things they did. I thought, well done to Toulouse, I thought they were outstanding in that first 20 minutes. just sucked so much energy out of us, and I thought we were really tough to only be 16-0 down at half-time, but we got no excuses. I thought, well done to Toulouse.
What about a flat cap support today? Those guys over there singing all the way through must give you lots of confidence in next year and the growth of the club.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Featherston's always been about the community and the supporters, and they've supported us through thick and thin, and they'll understand this loss, and they've come support us, and we appreciate that, and I'm sure they'll be at Post Office Road next year in big numbers again.
You've come a cropper against Toronto and Toulouse the last couple of years, the guys with the big budgets. If you had that kind of money, James, do you think that you'd be a different outfit altogether?
It's not worth worrying about that. We are what we are. I think we maximise what we do. I think Mark Campbell's always put his life and sweat and tears into Featherston, and he'll continue to do that. Whenever Mark's involved, he's always in to win it, and we've been really competitive. As I said, no part-time team's been promoted, and you see it's an extremely hard job to do that.
Thank you very much. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, mate.
That's a couple of £1 million game losses for James Webster with Hull Kingston Rovers in 2016, and now obviously with Featherston Rovers, who will remain in the championship. Just a word on who will be joining them following the League One playoff final today. Workington Town beating Doncaster. Workington getting promoted alongside Barrow, and of course Whitehaven already there, so a major Cumbrian influence in the championship. Congratulations to everybody at Workington Town. Commiserations to Featherston Rovers. Toulouse Olympique, founded 84 years ago, but it's been about a 20-year plan, as you'll have heard from Remy Casti there in that interview, to get into Super League. They applied in 2005. That license went to the Catalan Dragons. They came up to the championship for 3 seasons, 2009 to 2011, before stepping back to the French elite. They've done this in a very staged and a very managed way, and that's going to be very important. You know better than most the difficulty in planning and trying to stay in the Super League. Planning to get in there, getting in there, and then staying in there.
It's been a long-term vision from the club, which is fantastic to see how they've done it. They've done it the right way, with the right people on board, and next year is about stopping up for them. That's what it comes down to. And it will be tough to beat. It's going to be hard for teams going over to France and playing Toulouse. So I think they stand a real good chance of adding something to the competition next year.
Okay, let's get back to Stuart Pike for the presentation to the victorious Toulouse Olympique side. Stuart.
And they are ready to celebrate. The Vice President of the Rugby Football League, Mike Smith, will present the trophy. It's all about a 20-year project in the making. It'll be worth millions to the club, it'll be worth millions to the city in tourism. A whole new market and a new generation of rugby league fans as France celebrates. And Jonathan Ford, the man who spent 11 years with Toulouse Olympique, his children were born there, and Mark Corella, the two of them who have had this dream of taking Toulouse to Super League, tonight it's finally come true. They already have 4 or 5 new players lined up for 2022. Deals have been struck on them winning this game, and Harrison Hansen, who's won Challenge Cups, he's won Grand Finals, and there's the man. He is the man. Remy Castri, desperately disappointed to be cast aside by Catalan at the end of last year, but in his last match before retirement, Casti gets the chance to celebrate, along with Elwar Pelissier as well. It is a night of history. The Rugby World Cup, of course, will be in France in 2025. Steve McNamara said it was just the beginning, despite the fact that Catalan lost the grand final. For Toulouse, it is the beginning of a new adventure. And for French Rugby League, it is a big beginning.
Thanks very much, Stuart. Yes, French Rugby League has been through so much over the last 100 years, and it has survived and is now thriving. Remy Casti, gentlemen, a word on that man. his career and contribution to rugby league, Danny Ward?
I thought he was unbelievable tonight. You know, as a career, as a proud Frenchman as well, he's done an amazing job for Catalan over the years. And I thought, for me, he was a man of the match tonight. I thought he's running, he was so powerful, and give him another contract. Let's get him going round again. The old fella, it was unbelievable. And yeah, what a moment for him to finish on such a high like this.
It'd be almost cruel asking him to go round again, because he is a player, John, that it could not have given any more in his time on the field.
No, the way he plays, I don't think the modern game, you would get that sort of career again. I think he's been a player for the ages for French Rugby League and for Super League and for the development of the Catalan Dragons, and I hope that he is remembered in that way as well, and gets all the accolades and the plaudits from that part of the world that he very much deserves, because his name's writ large in the history and development of both of these clubs.
Conversations will soon change from celebrating this victory, and Matthew Jazoma's assured us they'll do that for at the very least a week, to preparations and planning and questions about what they can do in season 2022 in the Betfred Super League. Now, Cedric Garcia, the Chief Executive Officer of Toulouse, talking about their ambitions, has referenced their chairman, Bernard Sarrazin. He said he's not prepared to just get into Super League and battle relegation, suggesting the man who has been at the helm for 9 years has got healthy ambitions for this club. Now, we've heard that before. As we see the American-style celebrations come to Toulouse Olympique, well, nothing much rattles Sylvain Houlage. I don't think that will either. It's one thing saying you're going to get into Super League and make a shout, and make a splash, I should say, on those pictures. It's another thing doing it.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for them, but one that they've been preparing for, as we've said. You know, it's been a long-time vision for them, so it's not something that's just going to surprise them now. And it's, oh no, how do we plan for Super League? They will have been planning, they'll have been speaking to players for a long time, because this has been their main goal this year.
You two both know very well about recruitment, so that's it. They'll have these deals lined up. We expect announcements imminently then.
Yeah, and look, there's just a word on the geography there, because I think, you know, in the same way that the London Broncos did as well, those non-heartland clubs, it's a sexy place to live in it, the capital city. Toulouse is no different. You know, Toulouse, they'll have no problem, I'm sure, in attracting talent. The key for them is going to be something that Steve McNamara has been at pains to say in the latest development of the Catalan Dragons, is that people aren't coming to the south of France for a holiday and a year on the beach anymore. They're coming to work, and I mean, I've no doubt that Sylvain Houlage has got all that in hand, but it's a natural pull to that part of the world. It'd be no problem for him, I'm sure.
And another word on what the club has done before we have a look at the second 40 minutes of that £1 million game. They did 500 days without a home game. No revenue for that. So that was quite the achievement. Okay, let's have a look at the start of the second half. You felt the first score of the second half would be all important. It looked very likely that it was going to go to Toulouse, John.
Yeah, it very nearly came in the first 5 minutes. Short side break, and Jazomu, the player of the match, kicked back inside. The ball just evaded John O'Ford, a man who was growing in stature and growing in influence in this game, as this little clip showed. Something and nothing in and of itself, but just showed you the threat that he caused around the ruck. So when Featherstone got the chances, they really need to make the most of them, and Chisholm, I thought, was the main threat for Featherstone. A rare mistake from Corella there, accidental offside from John O'Ford, and then the first of 2 tries for Featherstone Rovers in that second 40 minutes came from Brett Ferris, and this was on 52 minutes, and this breathed life into the competition, didn't it? Featherstone, the first to score in this second half, 16 points to 0 became 16 points to 6, and we had a game on our hands.
We absolutely did. Things got very interesting with that Brett Ferris try, and then up steps a man we spoke about before the game. He decided, James Webster, to start with Dane Chisholm in the halves. He fired a 40-20 out of a cannon to completely change field position in an instant in favour of Featherstone. Now, this led to a really good chance with Craig Hall being held up.
Yeah, it was a fantastic kick. Again, that's what he can do. Can Chisholm? He just pull something out of that, and what great scramble. What a tackle that is. To someone like Craig Hall with the skill he's got, one-handed put down, things like that, to stop him in the corner is absolutely sensational. And that summed up the Toulouse attitude in defence today.
Well done, Jai Hitchcock. The chances, though, kept coming for Featherstone, and maybe, John Wells, the pivotal moment of that half. Again, the scoreline, 16-6 in favour of Toulouse Olympique. Featherstone score next, convert that, 16-12, 4 points in it. Suddenly it gets very squeaky for Toulouse Olympique. they went very close.
There's so many moments. So we're trying to figure out which order to put all this in and how we were going to discuss this after the end of the game. This, whichever order we put it in, this was crucial. All cleared onside at the point of the kick. One-on-one steal, and that was judged a knock-on from Chris Wellham in the build-up to this from Ferris. Now, you could probably watch this another 10 times and get 10 different opinions from it. The video referee said that at this point, there's 2 grabs for that ball, and that constituted, in his eyes, a knock-on. And that's there was not sufficient evidence to overturn the on-field decision, which was a no try. Look, as controversial as that might be,
flip a coin. That
it is a coin flip. In my head, I'm thinking, would it have affected the outcome of the game completely? In my eyes, no, because Toulouse were definitely the better side. But
he's 16-12, John. You'd make an argument.
Exactly.
You'd make an argument to say
it really needed this next clip. It really needed this next try to make me feel a bit more comfortable about that. And let's have a look at that then, because that came 4 minutes later. It is a big swing in the game, a big swing in the context of the game. And this was Jaume's try, finished by the centre, but as the commentator said, very much had its roots in Catalan, didn't it, with Remy Castilla and Elwar Pellissier featuring heavily in the build-up to that. So 64 minutes, instead of 16-12, 16-6 became 22 points to 6, and we thought, didn't we, that was the game done and dusted.
Huge swing, Danny Ward.
It was a massive point in that game, yeah. The Featherstone were on top. Toulouse were looking a little bit shaky as well, looking a little bit rattled, and I tell you, when the team's chasing like that and they score another try, you know, things start happening, and it was a massive point in the game.
Notwithstanding the fact that Featherstone scored next, you really felt that the air was out of their balloon at this stage.
Yep. It was 22 points to 12 when Davies scores this try, and you go, is this too little, too late? Because there was 13 minutes left. And I think whilst we were trying to calibrate whether they had enough time, this happened. And John O'Ford put Harrison Hansen over. And I think it's probably worth finishing on this try from John O'Ford, because it was on the bell. It was on 80 minutes. He'd provided the assist for Harrison Hansen, and then he ghosts through for a try really that sits, and the final scoring act that took them into Super League sits with exactly the right person. Because John O'Ford was one of Sylvain Houlet's first recruits back in 2016 when they rejoined League One. He actually won Player of the Year in League One that year. And I think it's really fitting that the man who took them to Super League and the first recruit for Toulouse on re-entry to League One that really capped this monumental evening in the south of France.
Again, you're perfectly positioned to answer this question. Sylvain Houlet is going to have to make a decision on this, and the determination on who he runs with in all the key positions on the field, and we'll probably look at fullback, halves and hooker for that. Would you be confident going in with a Lloyd White, Jonathan Ford, Tony Gigot and Mark Corella attacking spine at your side, or is he going to have to make additions in those all-important positions?
He'll make additions, definitely. You need some quality players, but why not give these lads a chance? I'll give them a crack. They've earned it. What a fantastic story to be in League One. League One Player of the Year with the Toulouse, and then give him a chance at Super League. He's a fantastic player, but yet they are going to need to recruit as well, which I'm sure we've already spoke about. They will be on top of that and already building for it, but it is a big step up, Super League.
I would love to see a player with Jonathan Ford's style succeed in Super League.
Yeah, and there's been a change. There's been some subtle changes, haven't there? The length of time we've been doing this, the fullback role's changed. I think more latterly that the loose forward role became a battering ram for a few years. Now we're starting to see, with the reduction of interchanges, we're starting to see that more mobile loose forward. And you're going, well, there's definitely something there. And I think this is a game that embraces all shapes and sizes. That's the beauty of our sport. And I think, to echo Wardy's comments as well, I think you did this with London when London got promoted. You didn't make wholesale changes, and you gave the guys that got you into Super League a shot.
It was too late to bring anyone in, so I'm not sure. No, we did. That's what we did. We thought, they've got lads there who've been playing there for a long, long time, so they've all got that chemistry. Corella, Ford, we've spoke about that. So give them a crack.
Well, let's hear from John O'Ford himself. He's with Steve Brady in the south of France.
Jonathan, what an incredible night for French Rugby League and for Toulouse Olympique. How do you feel?
Pretty speechless, to be fair, but it's huge. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to you, and I said it's big for rugby league in general to see the growth of the game. Not just for us, but for the community of Toulouse, for rugby league in France. That's one of the main reasons I've hung around for so long, and I'm just proud of everyone who's turned out, everyone who's put in, and all the past players and everyone I've played with along the way that have been a part of this. Yeah, it's pretty surreal, but yeah, it's hectic, but I'm stoked.
Very emotional scenes in the stands. These fans have returned here tonight, 9,235 supporters. Incredible when they're like 18 months away from home. You must be very grateful for that support.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, they really turned up and they supported us, and they were behind us with the band and the music and the singing and the dancing, and they really rode us home. So I'm just forever grateful for them turning up after this long. It's huge, it's huge. I'm very grateful.
Congratulations, John. Go and
Cheers,
celebrate.
mate. Thank
Cheers,
you,
buddy.
thank you. Cheers. Cheers,
Wonderful,
mate.
mate. Wonderful.
Well, the celebrations and then the preparations. Advice for Toulouse Olympique. Having qualified, get the celebrations out of the way, and they're going to have to start preparing. They'll have already done some preliminary work to sign players. You guys have touched on that already. But from your experiences, getting up and then going back down with London, what advice would you give to them to try and ensure it's a longer, more prolonged stay at Super League?
Firstly, enjoy it and enjoy this moment. You know, you've earned it. Enjoy your downtime. Don't think about it too. I know the coaches will. They don't switch off, but you know, get away from rugby. It's been a challenging 12-month, 18-month for certainly Toulouse with all the travel that they've done. You know, and just switch off, and then they'll come back. They'll get back to work, and it is a big step up in terms of, you know, the players that you're coming up against, the standard, the week in, week out. You know, it's no fault of Toulouse as being that good this year, but they've not been challenged as much. They're going to get challenged every week, and that's the main thing. And you're going to need a decent squad. So you're going to need some players to come in, some depth of squad to handle that week in, week out, and which I'm sure, like I said, that planning's been in place for long enough, and just enjoy the ride.
What's the plan B when it gets a little sticky and you're fighting down in the lower reaches of the table, not where you wanted to be, but you're down there? What's the plan B from your experiences with London? What could Toulouse learn to prepare themselves for those tough times?
It's just got to keep believing in themselves. You know, don't change. Be the Toulouse that we've all come to know and love. You know, the ones that are going to play football. Go attack. Go play some football. Go throw it around, and don't change and back yourself. You know, just keep believing in what you do. In all that matters is what's happening in your little bubble there, in your circle inside your four walls in Toulouse, and just keep believing in what Sylvain's instilling in his players, the type of players that they're bringing in, and the what Toulouse are about as a club, and that DNA there.
It's going to be a very special Super League next year, John, with 2 French clubs in it. It wasn't universally welcomed when it really became almost concrete that we're going to have to start considering Toulouse that they would qualify for Super League next year. So some of the people in charge in different parts of the game, some were very receptive. Others, I think it's fair to say, not so. They now are going to have to get their heads around that. How do we embrace this? How do we make the very most of this, Toulouse coming into the top flight?
Well, that's the easy part for me. I mean, I think what they show on the field has got to be the starting point. I think you've already covered how they've arrived. They haven't bribed anybody. They haven't come in and bought the way to the top. This has been an organic, slow development with a coach there who's built a culture in a stadium that looks well run, that's got good fan base. This is very different, I think, and much more organic and natural than what we've seen in previous years with other expansion projects. It's also whilst it's a non-heartland from our perspective, it's very much a heartland area of rugby league from a global perspective. I think there is an awful lot to get behind. And listen, we're going to have another massive 2 derby weekends to add to the calendar. So I personally am a massive advocate of it and cannot wait to see them.
I'd echo their sentiments. I'm sure as a man who coached an outlying club in the London Broncos would hope that the game in its entirety would embrace Toulouse. Bring him in, welcome him in, and make the very most of it.
Yeah, what's not to love? You know, another team in France. Like I said, the excitement that brings. Like I said, we spoke about the benefits that it might have for the French national team, which will again benefit us as a nation again, playing against them, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic for the game. Let's not just whinge about they're not going to bring in away fans. Oh no,
we're not going to sell burgers to away fans.
Yeah, let's just embrace what they're going to bring to the game and just enjoy it and get yourself down to Toulouse and go visit a beautiful part of the world and watch some rugby league.
You know, what a day we have had here. We've seen the Women's Super League Grand Final, we've seen the £1 million game, we've seen Toulouse qualify for Super League in 2022, just after St. Helens. added another trophy to their women's team and another trophy to that club's trophy cabinet, that bulging trophy cabinet. Okay, we have got coming up for you on Friday a very important programme where some former rugby league stars open up about their battles with mental health and provide an insight into their mission to educate the next generation on the importance of this issue ahead of the game. It's part of the Movember programme that will be next Friday, Sky Sports Arena at 5 p.m. Well, as we say goodbye to John Wells and Danny Ward, we reflect on last night's tremendous scenes at Old Trafford as James Roby lifted the Super League trophy and St Helens made it a hat-trick of titles in front of a raucous crowd. And then Jodie Cunningham, she did the very same for the Red V earlier today here at Headingley. A treble for the St Helens Women's Super League team. And then we have just seen Toulouse Olympique in the £1 million game qualify for Super League. From everybody here in the Sky Sports team, we say thank you for your company and we say welcome to the raucous rollercoaster ride that is Super League to Toulouse Olympique.
It is so good to be back and to be here to witness the start of a new Super League season.
Lead, possibly with the perfect start here.
How about that? A try from Crooks inside 15 seconds.
Tonight, after 429 days away, a large part of what makes rugby league great returns.
Caesar's pass out wide, McGilvray slips and dots the ball down. Oh, ducks under the first challenge, almost gets round the second, does get round the second. Archimond, Will Price with the break, and Will Price with the try. George Williams, his first contribution for Warrington, is 1 point that maybe settles this game for his new club. Oh, it's intercepted by Eden. It's intercepted by Eden. Lewis Dodd is chasing him down, but Eden will get there. They have turned the tide of history here tonight.
Here is Mark Sneed from 30 metres. It's on target. It's charged down. Jordan Lane.
Sam Catiana has got the ball down. The lonely Will winning for the Catalan Dragons.
Cruz leaving wins the most amazing game for the Leeds Rhinos.
Youngster will get his hat-trick under the posts. Price will cut infield. He will leave Leeds trailing in his wake, and Saints are going to Old Trafford. It's time to decide the champions of Super League in 2021. Nagama's been threatening all evening. Nagama will get over the line. It's dotted down. It is Vermeeken. Catalan 10-6 ahead. And Nagama is in for a second. That could be the game. They've done it for a third year in a row. An 8th grand final win for the Red V.
Sky Sports.